Out of this amount, an amount of 5,070,840.36 United States dollars was released by the Ministry of Finance, of which 3,070,067.81 was spent on the Team Free campaign in Kumasi, that is buying flight tickets for all our team players and technical team from their base to Ghana, and also taking them to Kumasi, and also making sure that their per diems are paid, the flight arrangements for the team, medicals, equipment and logistics, hospitality. This resulted in a surplus of 2,177,000.55 after our early exit from the tournament.
January, teachers echo yes omukoji omo akitua. Mwamunhwe from Christmas ayetua akitua 21st of the teachers immediately. You should pay the teacher because we don't even know the basis upon which he is taking that decision and the authority from whom he is deriving his actions. So you should pay the teachers immediately.
And if he doesn't?
Well, if he doesn't and we still get complaints, then we will pay him a visit in his office. The OSP is not an almighty God.
But before the payment of the 902, any response?
No.
Did you get any response?
Absolutely none. He's not an almighty God.
We are arranging our mics here for the second man to speak. They will pay him in
January 20. Yeah. Bosumi January 20. And a church for Nibi. Bayan a church 4,310. Omwe nyo market ya. Na dia kwa ba ene say omunya message every omo banks say controller ni accountant general etu omo ka. Na emom no mkokodru bank no. Ena bank ne ka kire omo say controller etu awoka. Na emom no special prosecutor the information aba say wusika no me fa ma wo. Ena ye members be boy amane. On be boy amane ne di akire e de to ye employer anim. My employer so every day obetumi bia man 1,310 no emu be 900 there special prosecutor release am yetu omuka be 400 plus na aka no besi ne omaketua no yentua emfa ma omo
Ojumayeni no eno ojumara no emra not.
We also secured IMF financing equivalent to 3 times Ghana's quota. We front-loaded disbursement of IMF resources with 40% in 2023 and the rest to be spread between 2024 and 2026, and successfully concluded a domestic exchange program. The results are clear. We are witnessing the catalytic impact of crowding in other resources. We are in discussions with the World Bank for a 900 million development policy operation and emergency support. The United States, through the International Development Finance Corporation, has announced a program to invest $300 million towards the construction of a data center under the G7 Partnership for Global Infrastructure and Investments. This is through the Development Finance Corporation of the U.S. Mr. Speaker, several key stakeholders played diverse roles in Ghana's successful journey towards approval of the IMF-supported program. On behalf of His Excellency the President, I would like to again express our sincere gratitude to the Right Honourable Speaker, members of Parliament, our participating bondholders, retirees, financial institutions, and other stakeholders who played critical roles. We are talking about the Black Star shining again, a people who are proud, a people who are prosperous, a people who are well educated, a people who are ready to share and sacrifice so that all of us, our 30 million people, will move ahead. But I can tell you, as my colleague, Deputy Minister said, we are not going to the IMF. Whatever we do, we are not. The consequences are dire. We are a proud nation. We have the resources. We have the capacity. Don't let anybody tell you like when Joshua, Caleb, and the 10 others went to spy on the promised land. And only 2 of them came to say that we can do it. And the 10 went around the community murmuring, you can't, da.
This is why we got into the IMF. You were spending too much relative to revenues, which is true. You were borrowing too much, which is true. Your external payments position has deteriorated, which is true. And so you ended up, your growth is reducing, which is true. So you ended up at the IMF, and the IMF would impose certain conditions, which is true. And if you don't do certain things right, the anchor will not hold, which is true. So I'm not quite sure what it is that is not true that I said. But I think, unfortunately, the supporters of this government and this government itself are very reluctant to admit the truth, even when it hits them in the face. Yeah.
Bailout or whatever. We're going to IMF for bailout. Do you know the meaning? The meaning is that people don't know. Immediately you say you want to go to IMF, it means that you are going to tell the IMF that, the IMF, please, me Ghana, I can't manage my economy, so come and help manage it. That's the meaning. Immediately you say you are going for a bailout. Immediately you take that decision. Then you are going to tell them, and do you know what the people they will bring? They won't bring their expert too. The deputy finance minister was telling me that I said all the IMF meetings they have had, high level meetings, small boys. Who come and take the decision? That's one voice. Who come in there? Hey, Ghana, do this.
IMF Luna Emma Mekai Moody's report, and in that Moody's report, they seem to put a whole lot of premium on the IMF quiet, and the discipline that comes with it. I answer it meet all the benchmarks are free and whom benefit here. That's a fair point. With that, wouldn't you probably credit the administration to take a decision to go to IMF? Administration now or read money card pay now or do money koja IMF no. So what should we credit him with? Or read money card pay now if you're doing echo IMF no. But that is what Moody's. But why do you have to in the first place? Who bury nam man card don't pay now? If you are okay, but me nam card don't pay me do call IMF. Into clap for me for taking you to the IMF. That's ridiculous. That's ridiculous. Why would you take us to that point in the first place?
I didn't hear you mine in at least I'll call IMF. Coach, let's say, minimum answer. Into woman and move mine.
IMF and sanitary.
And I would sanitary. I just have me watching me. And to woman.
That's not what you're doing.
Ah, what catch a Ghana for him, dear Obebumai.
And that's really because the bottom line, we are going to the IMF because we have been reckless. We have been to the point of even what one could allege criminality in some regard.
Okay, so let's not go back to that debate.
Yes.
The 100 million is coming.
Yeah.
Should we not look at that as some good news? At least the claim that it will help to stabilize the cedi, it will bring some confidence in the economy, and these are the things we need to keep the economy running.
You see, once if you look at if you don't deal with the cause, then you may forget that you shouldn't have been here in the first place. And you know what is the good news? At what cost? One, they say they will remove all subsidies. Whether the subsidies are targeted at the poor or not, those subsidies are going. IMF are not necessarily interested in economic growth. IMF, their policies have never been to, as it were, help you create jobs. It is to make sure that, look, you can pay your debts, okay? And paying debts doesn't necessarily directly benefit the Ghanaian. Because look, in Argentina, they've stopped them from even, they have to cut down the salaries to what? Doctors and teachers. In June, if you're not careful, what's happening with the doctors? They're going to go on strike.
No, we have assurance from the government that the service conditions will be provided by them, so there will not be any problems.
Assurance? Oh, really? From which government?
They're working on it, the government.
This government? Yes. Assurance? Really?
I think first of all, Emil, a response to the 250 million. You know, we are establishing a stability fund to ensure that we can intervene in the event of any solvency and liquidity issues. The World Bank has committed $250 million of that, and we are still talking with a number of donor partners, including the Africa Development Bank, for further resources. Government itself will put some money into that. We expect really latest by the third quarter for at least the World Bank resources to come through, working to accelerate Africa Development Bank and government itself's participation in that. So that's on the issue of the $250 million. In terms of the week, I think George will be able to testify himself. It's been a very positive week for Ghana. The fund is very comfortable with where we are. We are all looking in the next few weeks for the Paris Club to come in with their financing assurances. Pretty confident that everybody will come through. And the managing director of the IMF has committed, and as soon as the assurances are in, they'll set up the board meeting, and we expect to get a quick approval from then on. So on the fund side, I think it's been a very good week. But beyond that was also the beginning of discussions with the Eurobond investors. We did an investor presentation and then met with their committee, and those are going well. I think we are setting up the rubrics of the discussions. There's some more information to be given to them by the IMF and the World Bank. And once that's done, I guess we will then begin negotiations on that.
And what we know and that we are doing is that there were some outstanding instruments to work on. And that really was the Cocoa Bills from Cocoa Board, and also the government of Ghana US denominated local bonds, and the IPP debts. Those are just, I would say, continuing work that has been going on since the DEP was closed.
Before COVID-19, Ghana was borrowing some $3 billion annually from the international capital market. But following COVID-19, the international capital markets have been largely inaccessible by emerging market countries like Ghana. Furthermore, as a result of increases in interest rates in the developed economies and increased perceived risk of emerging market economies, investors have pulled $50 billion from emerging market bond funds just in this year, in 2022. 50 billion have been pulled. Non-resident holders of bonds in Ghana were not also rolling over maturities. In a decline in foreign exchange reserves also resulted. With the challenges in accessing the international capital market, balance of payment support was needed to bridge this financing gap, stabilize the economy, and create the space to implement structural reforms and restore debt sustainability. And this is really the reason why Ghana had to go to the IMF. I should again note that Ghana has been hit with a quadruple whammy. A quadruple whammy. The energy sector excess capacity payments, banking sector cleanup, COVID-19, and the Russia-Ukraine war. We have been hit by this quadruple whammy. And I say again that if you take out the fiscal impact of this quadruple whammy, Ghana will not be going to the IMF for support because our fiscal and debt and balance of payments outlook would be sustainable. Of the four factors, COVID-19 and the Russia-Ukraine war were external, and the other two, the banking sector cleanup and the excess capacity payments, were the result of policies of the previous government. Today, all over the world, fuel prices are rising in virtually every country. Food prices are rising Inflation is high. It's at a high for many years. Currencies are falling in value. Fiscal deficits are rising. Debt levels are increasing. This is happening globally. And this tells us that what we are dealing with is a global phenomenon. Let me give you an analogy to make my point. If you ask a carpenter to roof your house, and he roofs this house, and suddenly the roof collapses, without any rainfall or wind, suddenly you have a collapsing of the roof. Will you not blame the carpenter who did the roofing? Will you not blame the carpenter? But if the carpenter roofs your house and the roof collapses because there's a tornado and a storm which has blown away roofs and windows and walls of many houses, will you blame the carpenter? Will you blame the carpenter? So
the review is on the table, right?
Review is constantly on the table, you know, and it's just to make sure that the appropriate education is given, that the wastages are eliminated, and that, you know, it goes to give us value for money.
But Minister, someone said that he who calls the piper calls the tune. You are calling, but playing the piper. You sign in the checks. You would influence this review, Honorable.
Oh, it's a cabinet decision.
Okay, sorry, cabinet,
I'll certainly bring the numbers on the table for active and spirited discussions, and then we go on. I mean, as a government, the issue of value for money, you know, is important to us, and so we'll continue to look at our flagships, you know, make sure that they are efficient and that wastages are eliminated. That I can assure you.
Government has renegotiated the contract terms of the large general hospital project and will now be funded through the national budget. The contractor is expected, Mr. Speaker, to be back on site next week to complete a significant amount of work by 2024.
Viewers, let's watch this video. Let's watch it and we see how we talk about it. Let's watch this video. Just a minute. Let's watch it.
IMF.
The IMF.
To IMF. To IMF.
The IMF.
IMF.
Why should we go to IMF?
You were not informed too.
And there's some subtle suggestion of IMF. I think we've told you that we are not going there.
Continue.
Gabana Tesono Anko IMF. David Yanko. Onka Sembeko. Yanko IMF.
Don't you go to the IMF? Go to the IMF. We will not go to the IMF today. We will not go to IMF tomorrow. And we are not going as long as the NPP remains in power.
You only you waka come. Okay.
And go to IMF. We are not going to go to IMF.
But I can tell you, we are not going to the IMF.
Will you keep quiet?
Whatever we do, we are not. We are a proud nation. We have the resources. We have the capacity. Don't let anybody tell you. Like when Joshua, Caleb, and 10 others went to spy on the promised land. And
You should know. You should know by now. I like it like. I like it like. Like it like. Satisfied my soul. You should know. You should know by now. I like it like. I like it like. Like it like. Satisfied my soul. You should know. You should know by now. I like it like. I like it like. Like it like. satisfy my soul.
In lithium. Honorable Chair, for Ghana and for MIF, we consider lithium as both security and strategic reasons, considering the transition towards decarbonization. Lithium is an extremely important mineral, and I believe members may have seen that APSA, for example, have stopped financing fossil fuels. So we see lithium as a mineral of the future. We see lithium as a mineral that is important for industrialization and in line with the decarbonization. So this is why we looked at investing.
One is that Minerals Income Investment Fund, you own a Japan Royalties Company Limited. I want to find out if it's still in existence and whether or not it's working to achieve its objective, the reason why it was established. That's the part one of my question. And the part two is that you invested an amount of $32.9 million in Atlantic Lithium and its subsidiary, Barari DV. I want to find out whether this was a decision at your board level or at the ministerial level. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Honorable Chair. In respect to Japan, which is a royalties company and fully owned by the Minerals Income Investment Fund, as honorable members are aware, this was put on hold. The main reason for Japan was to have the IPO done, both in England and Ghana. But for quite a number of factors or reasons, the president advised that this be put on hold. So Japan is on hold at the moment. We are not proceeding as of now. With regards to
a follow-up to that.
Yes.
Has the MIF made any investment or no expenses in relation to the setup of the Japan?
Yes, Honorable Chair. Definitely, because this was an IPO. And as honorable members are aware, for every IPO, consultants, etc. come in. The establishment of an office in the United Kingdom and also in Ghana, etc., come into place. So there have been expenses. The whole idea was for MIF to be reimbursed after the IPO. But as the IPO is now suspended, until that suspension is lifted, we can't move on with Japan.
How much have you spent so far in relation to Japan?
I'll get the exact figure, but it should be circa, should be around $12 million. $12 million? Yes.
Dollars?
$12 million, right? $12 million.
Okay.
Yes.
Which is?
What is the difference between the ordinary thief and a political thief? Number one, the ordinary thief steals your money, your bag, your watch, and your jewelry, isn't it? But the political thief steals your future, your career, your education, your health, and your business. Number two, the hilarious part is that the ordinary thief will choose whom to rob. But you are the one who choose the political thief to rob you. Because we choose them. We vote them. We blindly say we are not blind. Who is deceiving who? The ridiculous part of the whole issue is that we will fight to defend and protect our belongings from the ordinary thief. Is it not? But we fight each other to defend and protect the political thief. Is that not what we do? Thugs will be fighting themselves to protect those that are stealing our career, stealing our job, stealing our health, stealing our success. What a shame.
If you reach a certain stage in life and there is nobody who can look you in the eye and tell you the truth, you are doomed. And that is where our country has gotten to. We need to rescue this country. Wallahi. And I feel very terrible as a Ghanaian at this time. This country is in serious trouble, ladies and gentlemen. We are in serious trouble. We need to rescue this country, ladies and gentlemen. The presidency has been so depraved. so muddied, so dirtied, that I tell you in all sincerity as a Ghanaian, that I feel terribly sad today as a Ghanaian. We need to rescue this country. Wallahi, inshallah.
Please don't cry.
We shall rescue our country.
Government is broke, government is broke. But people are spending billions to go inside the government that is broke. Have you ever seen a minister who resigned because government is broke before? Government has no money. Have you ever seen a governor who said, ladies and gentlemen, when I was elected, I thought the government had money. Now I discover government has no money, I resign. Have you ever seen it? Government has no money, but they are bringing money out at election time. Where is that money coming from? So they are lying. What is happening is that there are two types of wicked people in government. Type 1, they eat current money. Any money they find in government, they will eat it. They are wicked about that one. There is type 2. Type 2, they eat current money and future money. They will say, my term will end next year. When I leave, how will I eat money? Let me borrow money now and borrow money of the future and eat it now. Government.
Right, hello, good morning and welcome to the show. This is Good Morning Ghana live on Metro TV. As a Thursday, the 15th day of February 2024, by His grace we're live and we're here for yet another edition of the show. Our gratitude goes to the Most High God for the rare privilege of being alive and of course the opportunity of having another conversation around the top stories making the rounds here in our dear Republic. I'll let you into our panel for the morning's conversation shortly. Let's take a look at the front pages of our newspapers. Daily Graphic. Ministers face high expectations, 18 out. December 7 opportunity to rebuild nation, NDC. Supplement on Ghana Hotels Association Awards is also in today's additional Daily Graphic. The Ghanaian Times. Reshuffle. President fires 23 ministers in major shakeup. 13 ministers, 10 deputies go home. 8 new ministers, 11 deputies, 6 ministers of state appointed. Ghana marks 20 years of HIV antiretroviral treatment. Dr. Bawumia responsible for current economic hardships, NDC. Daily Guide. Nana flies out after Val's Day reshuffle. NPP commends Akufo-Addo for ministerial shakeup. Land Ministry details Bawumia's small-scale mining policy. Abesim Killer and Co. trial begins March 14. A new crusading guide. NPP endorses ministerial reshuffle. Asenso Boachi takes over at Roads and Highways Ministry. Kwabi Brem MC accused of preventing Kede Chief from attending public function. Rent Control Department to commence digitization of operations next month. Appoint Dufo as your running mate. NDC Youth Caucus to Mahama. The Insight. Scrap draconian taxes now. NDC tells Bawumia. Aplanke VIP. NPP's Arthur Kennedy descends on Bawumia. As February deadline approaches, Ghana amputee football team cries for $10,000 support to defend trophy in AFCON Egypt. Akufo-Addo shakes government, replaces worn-out ministers with reservists. Russia allegedly deploys 20-mile char train with 2,100 freight cars lined up to stop Ukraine counterattack. The Daily Statesman, Massive shake-up in government. Oforiata, Markwata, Dan Botri, Ajimamenu dropped. Okoboy titles Glover, Lady Al-Hassan brought in. NPP spells out task for new appointees. Hundreds protest against GFA. 40% of Ghana's population under 15 years. The New Finder. The big shake-up. Reshuffle has come too late, minority. Hundreds of soccer enthusiasts demonstrate to demand reforms in Ghana football. Ghana spent $3 million at AFCON 2023, Minister. Daily Post. A vote for Bawumia is a third term for Akufo-Addo's disastrous government, Fifi Kwete. All you need to know about Alhaji Bawumia's lies and false promises in his uninspiring address, Part 2. Brigadier General Poku, brain behind violence at Ayaso West Wogon. By-election appointed General Officer, Commanding Central Command to head election 2024 Task force in Ashanti Mbono. Chef Fila visits Lodina Mahama. And a daily searchlight. Critiquing DMB Part 3, public debt. Ministry of Finance contradicts Bawumia. Slaughter on the roads. 65 people killed in motorcycle crashes in Tema in 2023. Empty talk as minority runs against reshuffle. Vivo Energy. Ghana donates to New Horizon Special School to mark Valentine's celebration. NDC running mate Dr. Dufo is the wild card insurance bet for James' victory. Major blow as Oman FM's Kwabena Kwachi dies. Support disability sports. Samuel Obin and San urges government. Metrolens. Bawumia lacks vision and credibility. NDC. Australian man pulls gun on Ghanaian. Legal storm ensues. Kenneth Furiata joins Bawumia at Flagstaff House to mismanage the Ministry of Finance. Omani Buama. Oman FM's Wafa Kwabena Kwachi mysteriously dies. That's about it for the front pages. We'll be back shortly.
So many styles to choose, but there's only one sure way to pay. Momo? Yes. Oh yes. Got a payment to make? Just Momo it.
MTN.
Discover the perfect blend of quality, modern elegance, and affordability with Kingdom Home Real Estate. At Kingdom Home Real Estate, we cater to both local and international clients, offering exceptional housing options in Ebri and Ekropong. Our properties are conveniently located, providing a tranquil atmosphere, top-notch security, and essential amenities such as electricity, water, and backup generators. Our strategic locations offer easy access to popular tourist destinations, all within a 30-minute drive from Accra. Visit us in Ekropon right after the Latte Junction, or in Ebri near the Ebri Girls Senior High School. Alternatively, you can reach us Kingdom Home Real Estate, where your dream home becomes a reality.
Enjoy the fruits of your labor, they say. But as humans, aging and physical infirmity stands our way of enjoying our mansions and homes. It often becomes challenging, if not impossible, to use our stairways day in, day out. With portable American pneumatic vacuum elevators, PVs, you are assured of unlimited enjoyment of your mansions and homes. It's a self-supported elevator for vertical movement of humans and goods at homes and offices. The original comes in 3 custom-made models with wheelchair accessibility. Call it luxury, but it's a necessary imperative for vertical mobility. Do not let aging or infirmity limit you. Get one for your easy vertical mobility at home. It's affordable and can be installed in just 3 days without modification to your existing building. It's however easier to incorporate it at the construction stage. We also have traditional Fuji elevators and escalators for your high-rise buildings and malls. Visit Lifts and Elevators Company Limited at Sakumono for your elevators nationwide. For free consultation, to call or WhatsApp us on 0200-535-515. Lifts and Elevators, the elevator people.
For over 20 years of serving the world with herbal and alternative medicine, we've been successful in treating complicated medical conditions with a perfect combination of herbal and alternative methods of treatments like homeopathy, naturopathy, reflexology, and many more. We deliver excellent and effective service to people from all walks of life through scientific and traditional means. We have a well-equipped laboratory with advanced diagnostic and treatment devices to help detect your illness, so we know the right medication to be given. At Amen Scientific Herbal and Alternative Medical Hospital, we are proud manufacturers of our own herbal medication. Our zeal and passion to save lives with our patients at heart and outstanding achievements since 1996 has won us several awards. That is why we say, go herbal, go amen. We are located everywhere in all the regions. Amen Scientific Herbal and Alternative Medical Hospital. Allahu Shafi, God is the healer.
Hey, what's up?
How far with your internship?
To be honest, I'm so nervous about starting this new role on Monday.
Oh, please. I know you'll be great at it. You should be worried about what benefits they have. Example, do they have health insurance?
I doubt they will have that for interns. But no shaking. I have NHIS already.
Actually, I'm on a line.
Ina, look at you. What are you going to do in your office when you can just download your app to register for an NHIS membership?
Yes, my people. You heard right. You can now download and register your membership on my NHIS app. No long queues or tedious paperwork. All you need is your Ghana card to register for yourself and for others. Once you register, you get a new digital NHIS card on your phone. My NHIS app gives you access to credentialed health facilities and services across the country. NHIS covers over 95% of disease conditions in Ghana. Access to healthcare just got easier.
Now let me sign up quickly. Please, Seth, I'm starting work next month.
We are back, bringing you the latest lineup from Betway. Betway starts strong with their front two, with Free Play Friday and Swipe Bet. In the middle, you've got all the control with Cash Out and Build a Bet. Plus, with Win Boost, you can boost your sports bet. At the back, they have Smart Picks and the Partial Daily Jackpot.
You always get way more with Betway.
These offers have been vetted and approved by the Gaming Commission of Ghana. Bet responsibly. No under 18. Terms and conditions apply. Betway. Get way more.
The biggest car center in Ghana, offering unparalleled round-the-clock service in autos and accessories. Nadam Autofix is the biggest distributors of used tires in Ghana, offering first-grade second-hand car tires of all rim sizes at both wholesale and retail prices. We are also the leading name in car sensor diagnostics, corrections and sales of car accessories. We excel in car washing and detailing with state-of-the-art steam engine washing machines that keep water away from your engine, ensuring a clean, healthy and responsive engine. Nadam Autofix, the first name in servicing, car accessories and car washing. Visit us today and experience the world of class difference. Find us today at Asoridaho, directly opposite Dansoman KFC and the Shell filling station. For more details, you can call us on 0503 244 266 or 0535 339823. Nadam Autofix. Wukwainso nyonko papa.
Star Assurance, your solid partner.
Hey, give it to me! Hey, man! Go! One time! Stop! Ah! Enough you guys, oh! Continue!
Prepare yourself to unleash even more moolah by staking from 1 Ghana cedi to 350 Ghana cedis. And you could win 26 times your stake on the exciting new Pick 1 game from Game Park. Play by dialing *946# on all networks via our website or download the Game Park app on www.gameparkgames.com. Choose your Pick 1 number from 1 to 36. Place your stake and watch our live draws on Adum TV at 9 a.m., 12 p.m. and 6 p.m. daily.
Hey, live life like me with Game Park. Game Park, more moolah, more power.
This game is regulated by the National Lottery Authority, not for persons under 18. Play responsibly.
is that Minerals Income Investment Fund, you own a Japan Royalties Company Limited. I want to find out if it's still in existence and whether or not it's working to achieve its objective, the reason why it was established. That's the part one of my question. And the part two is that you invested an amount of $32.9 million in Atlantic Lithium and its subsidiary, Barari DV. I want to find out whether this was a decision at your board level or at the ministerial level. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Honorable Chair. In respect to Japan, which is a royalties company and fully owned by the Minerals Income Investment Fund, as honorable members are aware, this was put on hold. The main reason for Japan was to have the IPO done, both in England and Ghana. But for quite a number of factors or reasons, the president advised that this be put on hold.
Any investment or no expenses in relation to the setup of the Japan?
Yes, Honorable Chair. Definitely, because this was an IPO, and as honorable members are aware, for every IPO, consultants, etc. come in. The establishment of an office in the United Kingdom and also in Ghana, etc., come into place. So there have been expenses. The whole idea was for MIF to be reimbursed after the IPO. But as the IPO is now suspended, until that suspension is lifted, we can't move on with Ijapa.
Right, welcome back to the show. If you just joined us, this is Good Morning Ghana live on Metro TV. And with me on the show this morning, I have the Honorable Hussein Issa, who's a former member of Parliament for Okankwe North. Yes, constituency. Why are you laughing? Is it the honorable title?
Randy, can we go on?
Also with me on the show this morning is the Honorable Al Hassan Suhini, who's the Member of Parliament for the Tamale North. So there are two norths here, constituency. Honorable, good morning.
Good morning, boss.
Right.
Good morning, Randy. Good morning, Hussein.
Okay, so imagine getting rewarded for doing something you already do every single day. Sounds too good to be true, right? Well, that's exactly what Momo Season is all about. There's something for everyone. Download the Momo app on Play Store or App Store and use Momo Pay for your day-to-day transactions to a merchant, either through the QR code or merchant ID, and stand a chance of winning 1,000 cedis weekly and other amazing prizes. The merchants are also not left out of the reward. Receive payments and win. Keep using your Momo Pay on the Momo app and get rewarded. There are lots and lots of exciting prizes for everyone. So what are we doing today? Transact more with Momo Pay and more points and win big this Momo season. Visit momomerchantapplication.mtn.com.gh for your Momo for Business account today. It's Momo season, so just Momo it with Momo Pay. Terms and conditions apply. And use Kel Kids toothpaste flavored with strawberry that gives a perfect taste for kids and makes them develop a personal attitude and love for brushing their teeth always for your kids. Now, Kel Kids toothpaste protects child's gum, prevents cavities, and makes the teeth strong and healthy with freshness all day. Kel Kids toothpaste is recommended for children between the ages of 2 and 6. It's a product from Samara Company Limited, producers of Sasso, and is approved by the Food and Drugs Authority. Kel Kids, happy, smile. And enjoying the fruits of your labor is as important as enjoying the mansions of your labor. And the pain of climbing the stairs when not exercising could be challenging, irrespective of your age. But worry no more. Lifts and elevators have got you covered with the best portable American pneumatic vacuum elevators on the market today. It's a simple self-supported elevator for both homes and offices. And guess what? It can lift your goods too. Wheelchairs can fit in, and they come in 3 custom-made models. It's affordable and can be installed within 3 days. Visit lift and elevators at Sakumono. Just call them on 0200-535-515 or send a mail to elevatorsgh@gmail.com for consultations and the best solutions in easy vertical movements. Amen Scientific and Herbal and Alternative Medical Hospital is organizing a free health screening now, and it's open to the general public. This is a way of saying thank you to Ghanaians, and what's more rewarding than this? The free screening includes fertility tests, prostate, stroke, diabetes, hypertension, fibroid, ulcer, hepatitis B, and many more. Note that the medical screening is free, but patients with disease conditions will pay a token for their medications. Visit Amen Scientific at Dome near the Smith Flats Down, or Klagon near the Sherman Under Bridge, and all the other branches across the country. You can call Amen Scientific on 020-722-9505 or 0244-227192 to book your appointments. Amen Scientific and Alternative Medical Hospital. Allah Shafi, God is the healer. All right. So let's start off with the reshuffle. So let's say the big shake up. And the minority says reshuffle has come too late. The Daily Statesman says massive shake-up in government. Verata Mwakwata Dambochi Ajimamenu dropped Okoboy Titus Glover, Lydia Alassane brought in. NPP spells out task for new appointees. NPP endorses ministerial reshuffle. Asensu Boachi takes over at Roads and Highways Ministry. Nana flies out after Val's Day reshuffle. NPP commends Akufo-Addo for ministerial shake-up. President fires 23 ministers in major shake-up, 13 ministers, 10 deputies go home, 8 new ministers, 11 deputies, 6 ministers of state appointed. New ministers face high expectations, 18 out. Too little, too late. This is the best time.
Good morning to you again, Randy.
Yes.
Good morning to Alhaji Suhaini. Good morning to His Excellency, Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, flag bearer. Good morning to his team, and good morning to your viewers of Metro TV.
Right.
Randy, 10 months to elections.
In fact, 9 months.
9 months, I mean. Well, should elections be in November, it probably will be 8 months. But 8 months is a long time also in politics. And in situations like managing an economy, managing a country, sometimes it is the new face, the new energy, the new approach to doing things that will encourage people to have a lot of faith in the way you go about the business. Some of us, and most people in my party have been expecting and have been calling for this some sort of a shake-up within the government for a while now. Thankfully, yesterday was an eventful Valentine's Day. But in the last couple of days, it's been anticipated on a daily basis. And you know how those things are done. The whole process also needs to be managed and managed really well. Our current governance architecture puts all of this in the bosom of the president. He appoints and disappoints based on his own assessment, but I'm sure the president also has systems in place that gives him feedback on how his appointees are faring and how things are going within the system. The president has been of the view that his appointees were on top of the issues, and so he has not been too skewed towards changes, or he's not supported a lot of the changes when it's come up. But thankfully, we are in an election year. I'm sure the calls had gone to a certain level. I'm sure the president himself has considered a lot of things. I'm sure that this is also not the first time that we have had such major shake-ups within government leading into an election year. Yesterday's shake-up was very was a big one, given that 13 ministers were affected, 10 deputies were affected, and for me, there was also a trend in appointments. I felt that this whole appointment was also skewed towards some parliamentary contests, because if you watch this whole thing, for most of the members of parliament who had opted not to run elections in this year or lost their primaries last month, they got out of parliament, or out of the government, but they are still in parliament until the elections. For the new appointments, most of them were also people who were going to be contesting in the parliamentary elections going forward. I think that all in all, we now have a more youthful looking government. If you look at the ages and the energies of the people who have been appointed, it shows the new patriotic party's readiness for election 2024. We have been now hungrier, younger, and I hope that they show a lot of aggression going forward. I hope that they are able to bring new ideas and new energies to the portfolios that's been handed over to them to prepare and actually propel the party into the elections. There were notable changes that a lot of people are happy about. But I still hope that it's also very important, especially where we find ourselves in as a nation at this time, to ensure that there's also some level of stability and continuity. So then there's a mix of bringing a new phase, but ensuring that the stability and the continuity that we need, particularly in the management of the economy, is kept. Essentially, we are in the last year of the tenure of His Excellency Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo. We already have our fiscal policy in place, but there's a change as to who is going to run the policy that we have put in place. And it's good to see the energy of Amin. It's good to know that he is not coming from he is not a total outsider to the management of the economy, unless he's been involved and deeply involved for at least a year. So there is that sort of continuity, and the minister or the outgoing minister, because of the parliamentary situation, as to there's not going to be any vetting for Amin. So probably Amin is already taking over, because the communication took immediate effect from yesterday. So Amin is going to take over. He's going to provide the stability, the continuity, and the minister is going to also avail himself, because of arrangements that is going to be put in place, or is already in place, to ensure that there is no sort of turbulence within the sector. This is essential, because the minister or the outgoing minister, Ken Ofori-Atta, has led a whole process, especially with the engagement of the fund. In the past, when there have been calls from within the party for him to step aside for someone else to pick up, the president had explained to the party, especially to the parliamentary caucus and elements within the parliamentary caucus, that had actually come out and demanded his stepping aside to allow someone else to take charge of the economy. So there is this arrangement to ensure that the stability and the continuity that is needed in the engagement of the fund over the period is also kept, and that for me was essential, and it's good that we are putting in that arrangement. Going on to other sectors, like some lateral movements, like from information to works and housing for Honorable Kojo Oppong Nkrumah, for Asenso Boakye, and the likes. I think that this is also to show a face face, the energy, new ideas to propel the party through the elections. It's you see, I already stated that, look, we already have in place the fiscal policy. But someone is going to run that fiscal policy. Someone is going to operationalize that policy. So it is not going to be new policies coming in. But this morning I heard Dr. Amin on radio, and he is setting out his priorities, just like His Excellency Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia did last week. He is setting out his priorities. I mean, it's not going to be a stark departure, but he's also coming from an angle. He is an MP. He knows what the constituency issues are. So he will very much also identify with his colleague MPs and all of that. And I am very, very elated that this whole thing is also parliamentary focused. A lot of MPs were put out there. It's going to put them at the forefront within the election. And for me, it is not too late to do.
Let me ask you this question. You've been in Parliament before, and you were a finance person as well. Now we're on an IMF program.
Yeah.
If you have a new finance minister today, what difference does it make?
It will still make a lot of.
I'm saying this from the perspective of the Ghanaian. I am a Ghanaian. There are a raft of tax measures. The government is signed onto an IMF deal. There are things that government must do and all that. What does a new finance minister bring? What is new? A 36-month program has been agreed on. And he's coming, he has basically, yes, he's not going to be vetted. Somebody even raised the issue yesterday about the fact that another issue that people have not averted their minds to is that most of these appointees are MPs. And so they will be contesting in parliamentary elections. So apart from those who are going to be vetted, who probably will be taking office in mid-March or March itself, we are told many times about the time it takes for you to get adjusted and all those things, all the agencies under you and all that. And then they also have to think of parliamentary elections, especially if they are not from constituencies that are safe seats. So basically, what will a new finance minister do? What will he bring? He's not going to bring new policy.
That's why I stated that. I mean, it's been very integral in this whole process.
Yes.
From the engagement of the fund, he was there.
Yes.
Up until where we are today.
Yes.
He has been part of the negotiations and the whole operationalization of this IMF engagement. And so, I mean, it's not going to be totally new. He is in there.
But what new?
Even within the fiscal policy that we are running, it was in there because, we went
so
to
what
them
new?
to win. What new is that sometimes, you see, even the face, a new face being put to a sector itself energizes and brings in some new energy. The fact that today, over the last a little over 7 years, we've had Ken at the helm of affairs. So the new name is going to be mentioned. Probably somebody or something.
Why I ask this is, if the new name were coming in at a time where we can be talking about a new direction, I mean convincing government to take a new direction, a new approach, a new way of doing things, then the issue of it will be refreshing to have a new. But I'm saying that with our current situation and what we've signed up to, what is a change in name going to do?
A change in name will also bring. I mean, as I listened to him this morning, he was also setting out his sort of priorities. Within the fund arrangement, there are benchmarks that we need to meet. Those benchmarks, thankfully, we're on track. That's why we were able to get our second disbursement. Our next valuation will be in about 6 months. And there are further benchmarks that have to be met, including signing on to give base, the level of accumulation of debt and all of that. I'm sure, I mean, it's also setting out his. Given that we have the fiscal policy in place, he's setting out how are we going to work on revenue generation? The ministry has been working with GRA, but he says that, look, I'm going to be very practical. I am going to be at the point where activities actually happen. He says that he is going to actually be somebody working outside of the office, and that is a different approach.
Working outside of the office. What does it mean?
Means that he's going to be at GRA, he's going to be at the airport. He mentioned
to do what?
To ensure that those people, whatever targets, whatever the people who are at those points need, to ensure that we are able to hit our targets within the fiscal policy. It's come out. So it's also going to be more practical. I mean, people have different approaches to how things are done. Somebody will probably prefer to be
and that will be and
make
that
sure
will be,
a system
and
put a
that
system
will
in
be
place.
to achieve what?
Oh, to ensure that we remain on track.
So we are on track.
We are on track. Yeah.
So the outgoing minister, his approach and everything is ensure that we're on track.
Yes.
He's going to have, the new minister is going to have a different approach.
Yeah.
Which will also ensure that we're on track.
Yes. But it is not just a case of being on track. But you see, as we go along the line over the 36 months,
yes,
the targets are kind of rolling, because there were targets we were supposed to have met within 6 months, others within a year, others within 2 years. So it is to ensure that, look, what we are doing is that we are actually on track. And for most of those ministers, the terrain in which they are going to operate. Let's take Henry Quarter, for instance. He's been deputy at the ministry before, so him going back as a substantive minister, it is a sort of a continuity. He is not totally new to the system. Let's take maybe Fati Abubakar at the information ministry. She's been very instrumental in what is happening within the ministry. So it is just but even for people like Japa Mensah, or even my very two good friends, Japa Mensah and Sly. Those are not two very different. I mean, Sly works with this team. He's been very so it is not going to be a totally new thing. I'm sure that it won't take them too much time to be able to get
Japa
into.
Mensah is moving from energy to tourism.
For tourism, I mean, he's gotten and even for.
You say it won't take time for
I mean, for the Japan Mensah that you know, he is very adaptive to situations. He easily adapts to situations, and I believe and have absolute confidence in him that it will not take too much time for him to be able to settle into his new portfolio and hit the ground running. I mean, that's a term that
so
they're not going to ask for any honeymoon period and all of it.
What do you make of the new, in quotes, architecture as far as government's running of the economy is concerned? And here I'm referring to the outgoing minister now becoming a senior presidential advisor on the economy, and also the president's envoy on capital markets and something else. Investments.
You see, Randy, I did mention, and it's obvious that, look, ultimate responsibility. I mean, Ghanaians voted for Nana Addo Dankwa.
No, there's something they say.
And he has
just a minute. There's something they say. I think it's in almost all the local languages. It's like you've given out the animal, but you're holding the tail. There's a way they say it.
Yeah. See, I believe that Amin has a free hand to run the economy. Look, for a while now, we've had a presidential advisor on health, Dr. from the Ashanti region. We've had a president, and he had specific answers. He has specific projects to amongst them. He was instrumental in the COVID issues. Amongst them, he is also very instrumental in Agenda 111 and the likes. What Ken is going to be doing, I suppose, is that I mentioned that because of this fund program, we need to ensure that we have that continuity and stability. I mean, Ken is at the forefront in negotiations with the IFAND. He wasn't alone. He was with the central bank governor. He was with Amin to some extent, he was even, the vice president was even also very much in there. But Ken was at the forefront. And because of the stability and the continuity that we need, it is not out of place for him to be given a role to ensure that from where we started off, not too long ago, he was in China negotiating with our bilateral debt holders to ensure that we are able to get that agreement through for the fund to be able to continue with this program. And so if he is available to ensure that we have this continuity, we have this stability in that front, why not use his services? Why should he be antagonized for somebody who has led and run this economy for over 7 years with this level of distinction? I think that we should be able to.
But if
we should be able to.
The man has run the economy
level of distinction
with this. Okay, you qualify. I said this level of distinction. I'm sure that you have your own appreciation of what distinction is, and so I won't deal with that. But if that, and he still has a lot more to do. With the 9 months left, why do you change him?
With the 9 months left, sometimes going into an elections,
let him conclude the distinction and everything.
Wait, you see, Randy,
excellent.
We are a political party. We are a political party that won elections to manage this country. We have to go back to the people to renew our mandate come November or December, whichever date the EC decides. And in doing so, this is a time when we should also be sort of listening to the people. Sometimes it is not just the ineptness or inability of somebody to do something, but it is a clamor that a lot of people are calling for that. Listen to the people, right? But ensure you are in the saddle, but continue to ensure that the right things are being done for the country, for the economy, but also listen to the people. So if the people want a new face, give the people a new face. Make sure that the new face is empowered to do what it's supposed to do. But you are in the saddle. It is your responsibility to ensure that there is not a total shake-up that will destabilize the whole process. So the semblance of the stability, continuity that Ken will offer in his new role, it's also very, very crucial. And so I don't think that there's any shift from what I personally expected to be done. And I think that we can work this whole system very well to
I don't have a reaction to the ministerial reshuffle because it's the president's prerogative. He works with the ministers and the deputy ministers, and he should be able to determine who's working well or otherwise. But I think that 8 months to an election will not have any effect on the direction of government. So I think the timing is the problem. Otherwise, it is his prerogative to do a reshuffle as he sees fit. And then he goes on to say, some of these appointees are completely new. How are they going to learn and know what goes on in the ministries to enable them to direct their ministries as expected? So what do you want to achieve? It is too close to the election, and I don't believe they can effect any massive change. This is a former Chief of Staff, Kojo Mpieni's thoughts on this.
Randy, I respect very much. He's been in a position, and I think that whatever his views are things that we should be respected. But I'll give you 2 examples. The appointment of K.T. Hammond and Brian Champon. They came into the Ministry of Agriculture and Ministry of Trade around the same time when the substantive ministers exited to go contest for the primaries. But I can tell you that if you look, at least from the outside, right, the energy, the way they have handled these 2 portfolios.
So let's take.
I think that
Ministry of Trade.
3 days.
Apart from trying to bring back the how do they call it? The system of there's a name for it.
Yeah, the quota.
You come and take this thing to, apart from attempting to introduce what has happened at the Ministry of Trade.
You see, I don't think it's the only one. Behind the scenes.
No, I'm just asking you.
Behind the scenes.
No, I'm a citizen. I'm saying that apart from the spirited attempt to bring in that thing,
For the first time.
What has
For the
happened
first time.
Yes.
For the first time in about maybe 7 years, or over 6 years. The person, the various stakeholders within the sector have had to be dealing with has been Mr. Alan Kojo Martin.
Yes.
So definitely the way his approach to his business will be what has permeated through the system with the stakeholders. Then comes in the all flamboyant Katie Hammond. His ways of doing
I love
things.
your adjectives today.
His ways of doing things are certainly unique in itself. So it brings in some new approaches.
So what is new? Apart from attempting to bring that thing, what is new?
See, when
I know that from your training and everything, we ought to be speaking to outcomes. So really, what is new?
Yeah, the outcomes I probably wouldn't be able to like. But okay. look at the Ministry of Agric.
Yes.
The approach to the celebration of the Farmers' Day for the first time.
Yes.
Was a stark movement.
We blocked the streets. That
was a stark. I mean it's not the inconvenience that was created. In quotes, inconvenience that was created for the time that the fair took place. But I
outcomes.
I went out
the
there.
Appointment of a minister. It's not about celebration.
It is not a celebration.
Yeah,
but
format
you see,
for celebration.
There's a reason why we instituted that celebration.
Yes.
There was a reason.
Yes.
And we have had that format for a while now.
So what has changed? That the best farmer now gets 2 houses or 3 houses? Or what?
I mean the whole.
Or that we block the streets that enter the ministry.
It was not about blocking streets, but I mean for the first time, this whole fair.
No, I want to learn.
This fair, this fair
to learn. That's all.
This fair that took place. The
so
fair
that
that
when
took
I
place.
sit here, I can tell people that ABCD has happened.
On a particular day, I was at the ministry's area when the Ministry of Finance, the Minister of Finance, and the Minister of Agric were together at the fair for the first time. You will think that so it's just. I'm not saying it's an achievement, but it is for the first time for them to first hand see what practically could be done. So where the 2 ministries could work together, where the 2 ministries could work together to achieve the aims. Oh, I mean, I'm saying okay. I'm saying okay. You know. The approach to which your producer does this thing. If you have a new producer, I am sure it will shift, even if it's within 2 days. It will shift in. There will be some new energy and so that's what, especially us getting into the elections ahead.
Okay.
And for me, it is positive, and and for it to be parliamentary also focused. Okay. For me, I'm very happy about it.
Okay.
You know, Andy, it's not a comfortable place to be in. And I really sympathize with Hussaini. Now, let me say good morning to our viewers, especially the very good people of the Tamale North constituency. At the personal level...
I'm happy with some of the appointments, some of the elevations.
Yes, that's what I'm happy.
Yeah,
at the personal level, I am happy with the opportunities that have been given some people. And maybe this show is not taking credit enough for some of the elevations that
they're coming
to
continue what Kwesi Price started yesterday.
Oh, really? Then I missed it. I think you are not taking credit enough for the opportunities that some of them are getting. You look at Collins, you look at Okoboy, you look at Sylvester. And,
so sometimes when you've produced the
this is how regulars on the show, right?
Sometimes when you've produced the vice president and the president, you take some things for granted.
Well, no. I like that. Yeah.
So my regular Friday panel had His Excellency John Mahama and Nana Akumi.
Oh, okay.
So when I say that, that's what I mean.
You know. So
Bakumia is still a regular here, right?
Yeah, he's still a regular. You know. So I'm saying that at the personal level, I am happy for somebody like Collins.
Sorry, Alaji. So I should really be a regular here. But you are. So just
don't worry.
That's so true. You know, if you look at someone like Collins Adumako, a young guy.
Yes.
I mean,
carries himself extremely well.
Exactly. First time in the political space, and has carried himself very well. And so, though the time is short, for his best to be, felt, I think that the opportunity
at West, the recognition.
Yes, and the opportunity to even try and learn and build experience is something I'm happy for him. And then Honorable Okoboy, over the years, I will say, many even thought that he should have been the health minister at some point, since he went to the National Health Insurance Authority. We have not really.
That decision. Sorry, you know that decision by the president after his first term to drop those who lost their parliamentary seats. And so I think he affected Kabo and Okoboy. And I thought that when there is a general principle or rule, there ought to be exceptions. And I thought that, and I've singled out the two. And I explained why. I thought that, look, if you look at Okoboy's constituency and its history, and then you look at Kabo, and we all know that, but for the fact that an NDC ran as independent, the data shows that there was no way Kabo was going to win that seat. So for people like that to lose their ministerial portfolios, maybe not on the basis of performance, but on the basis of the fact that there's a general rule that once you lose your seat, you will lose. I thought that was unfair.
Well, Okoboy, I may agree with you, but with Kabo, it was difficult to even assess his impact as deputy.
No, you still don't get my point I'm making.
I get your point.
I'm just saying that when the general rule is that if you
but the point I'm making is that I'm not saying that your point even about Kabo is entirely wrong. I'm simply saying that because of the environment he had to work in at the road ministry as deputy with a very, overpowering, I don't know if that word is correct, boss, a figure like Amakwata who, took all the space in the room. It was difficult for you to even assess if he did well or not. That's why I said in the case of Okoboy, it was easier because even as Deputy Minister of Health, he had the room to operate and he was out there and people felt his presence at the ministry. I didn't feel Kabo like that as Deputy Minister of Roads. But I agree with your principle. So I'm saying that Honorable Okoboy is someone that many thought that he should have even been the minister. Since he went to the National Health Authority too, we have not really heard of any, inappropriate conduct or behavior.
I mean, during COVID, apart from fellow Ghanaians, Okoboy really was a guy, and he took advantage. He would take advantage of presence, for example, Good Morning Ghana, and get me to be discussing governments, whatever, on for 40 minutes, sometimes 1 hour.
He has that, appeal. And so I think that at the personal level, I'm happy for some of these people, Sylvester and
their friend joking.
And the thing I like about Okoboy's elevation too is how not to give up when you are down. I mean, it's like he could have just been knocked out after he lost, the constituency as member of parliament. But he's remained very strong. He kept showing up until he got the National Health Insurance Authority. In fact, at some point, it was as if this platform became a campaign platform for him to get appointed. So I mean, it is for me that story of inspiration and motivation for people.
I have a friend. Anytime he meets me, he sees me and says, "Okonganuaya."
So it is that story of inspiration for people who once in a while may get hit. I mean, may fall or fail. It gives you that sense that, look, life is not a straight line. I mean, there will be zigzags and all of that. So I'm happy that he's bounced back, become CEO of the National Health Insurance Authority, and now, you know, Minister for Health, even though he lost as Member of Parliament and has gone back again to win as the NPP's parliamentary candidate. I'm not very sure if he can win the seat this time around, because I am confident in the performance of the NDC's rep. Honorable, I mean, he's an amazing person. I live in that constituency, so I know some of the things that go on. I know that Okoboy is fighting really hard, you know, to come back, but I think that the current MP is doing well, and I hope that the people, for the first time, will break that jinx and allow him to come back to Parliament as their Member of Parliament. So at the personal level, I'm happy for people like that. I'm happy for Amin Anta as well. Yeah. The fact that he has this big opportunity, you know, despite the fact that the time is so limited for him to also be felt, for his impact to be felt in any way. But he can just be, like we are told, an administrator, a manager of what has been put in place, because he really cannot change anything now. Like you rightly described the situation. We are in a program with the IMF, and we have little room to maneuver. And so if Hussaini says that he's going to be out there monitoring revenue collections,
maybe his relations to you guys in Parliament,
yeah,
maybe his prompt responses to your questions, maybe, maybe he would engage in such a way that you'll be able to appreciate the things a bit more.
I don't see that happening,
and I'm sure
because you raise in Parliament, because you see you raise another critical point which has to do with the election, and I'll come to that. I think Hussaini ended on that note, which is the reality about this reshuffle. I mean, the reality about this reshuffle is that people have been put in places to win elections, to help win elections, help win their seats, and help win the general elections. That's what this is all about. This is not about nation building. This is not about reforms. This is not about growth for Ghana. This is about, you know, election winning for the NPP. And I'll come to that. But I think that Honorable Amin Anta will not even have the time, you know, to be that present in Parliament, because his constituency until recently has been very shaky, you know.
Even apart from the constituency, that portfolio,
yes,
in terms of his contributions in Parliament itself,
yes,
it will suffer.
Yes,
in Parliament
itself, because he will have to move around, he will have to do a lot of meetings and all that. So he may not even be that present in Parliament. But in the ministry. Yes, and in the past, it is Abena, you know, who has been very
parliamentary business.
Very
previously
very
the minister himself was not an MP.
Parliament, yes. So I really am happy for him, but I am also sorry that we will not feel, you know, his impact. I know the stuff he's made of. I mean, he's somebody that I have known since his days as student leader. I worked closely with him in the media when he was mayor of Tamale, before that deputy minister of Northern Region. So I know the stuff he's made of, and I know the energy, the drive, and the hunger for success that he's made of. But unfortunately, I mean, apart from the time, the scenario that has also been set just makes you wonder if he can make any impact at all. Where you raised it, how do you have the finance minister being appointed as a senior advisor on the economy to the president? You know,
it looks like
in this case, it is clear, like we say, giving with the left and taking back with the right.
It looks like, I mean, some young people who are in politics who I have a relationship with from way back as Honorable Amin Anta.
Yeah.
You know, and a thought just came to mind. Yeah. It looks as if he's getting a reputation for those last minute things.
Yeah,
President Kufuor's
true.
You know, after the MPP primaries,
MC,
the last 10 months,
the
last 10 months powerful. MC. That's when he became Tamale MC.
Tamale MC.
But this one too, the last 10 months. That's when he's become finance minister.
And you know, he was supposed to oversee the staging of Cannes 2008 as the MC in Tamale. So he supervised, I think, the construction of the Ali Muhammad Stadium and all that. So, you know, you are right. He's earning a reputation for getting last-minute substitution. You know, so I really feel
great guy.
Yes, I really feel sorry for people like that. Now, I am also sad that this reshuffle.
There's a story. Everybody is missing it.
Yeah.
That's the story of. He's an associate professor, Dr. Kingsley Nyako.
Yeah.
Yes.
Solid guy.
You know, and he's one of the people that I really push on this show. You know, because he's an intellectual. He likes to deal with research and all that. So anytime he's here, he's one of the people who I really engage a lot.
You know? I was happy to see his name in the
He suffered in the constituency, you know, after he lost his wife. There were a lot of...
That's news to me.
Oh yeah, he lost his wife quite early. Yes. When he became MPS, he lost his wife before his dad as well.
Oh.
Yes. And then there were a lot of things against him in the constituency.
Quite so.
I mean, to the extent that people even thought that he was not good enough to come on the show on the basis of our engagements and all that, you know, a whole lot. I mean, today you hear that his name is on it, and the name vanishes, and this and that, and eventually it happens for him.
Yeah.
If you don't know him, you don't know him.
You know,
even from the little I know, his work at DI, his work at the ministry.
My first reservation with this reshuffle is the fact that for now, it looks like a number of issues may not really fully be addressed, and we will not have closure, perhaps until another government comes into office.
Okay.
Like the Sputnik V. Health. What happened during COVID with the health minister? We don't know, and we may never know.
I thought Parliament instituted it.
Yes.
So what happened?
And the report is there, and there were recommendations.
So what happened?
But you see, somebody has to be held responsible.
Yeah. So what happened? You. When I say you are Parliament, I don't mean you.
Yes.
But
what I know is that, I mean, after the sitting, there was supposed to be a report presented. I don't think that we have been able to take that report yet. I remember, I don't know. I didn't really work closely with that committee, but I remember the ranking member of the committee a couple of times, you know, making efforts.
And this is in an instance like this. What are the remedies that your standing orders allow? If, for example, there's a parliamentary probe into a matter, and it looks like there's a dead end because there's no movement forward in terms of the report, how do you reactivate it? How do you bring it on the front burner? How do you get the speaker or parliamentary leadership to act on it?
I'm not too sure, but I think you can use petition. As a member, you can petition the speaker, you can petition the business committee to bring it up. So but my problem really is that many of these people are going home without us having closure to some of the issues that are hanging over their heads.
They are going home, but they are still in Ghana.
But you see, that's what I'm saying. That
they are still.
That's
why
I said that perhaps the only way we can get closure to some of these things is
when there's a change.
In government. That's why I'm making that point. I mean, you look at the sanitation ministry, a lot of questions still hang around there. I mean, who is going to help us, you know, get those answers? Even the finance ministry is not left out. The roads ministry, I mean, the works and housing. There are a number of questions that still hang around, you know, the people who occupied these ministries and are now being reshuffled, and in most cases are not taking up any responsibility in government again. And I think that our only hope is that this election will produce a government that will be focused in dealing with some of these issues and bringing closure on them, so that the people of Ghana will, if they are so shortchanged will be perhaps appeased by whatever effects the engagements that they were involved in cost us. So I am really sad that many of these people are reshuffled to go home without us having closure with regard to some of the issues that they involved themselves with that made headlines and that were not very palatable. But I made the point earlier that clearly, like everyone has said, this reshuffle is about winning an election. And that is what is very disheartening. I mean, for a long time now, I've been saying that it seems the focus of this administration really from the start has never been about growth, development, transformation of this country. It's always been about competition, contest, win it. I mean, but it's like we say in Dagbani, a dog that runs after a car doesn't know what to do with the car after it catches it. So for them, every day it's a contest, every day is a competition that they must win. But then after the victory, they do not know what to do with the victory. Because what is really the purpose of politics or winning political power if it does not lead, or if the intention is not for it to lead to the transformation of a community and a people? What is the use of that electoral victory? So you have this government doing all that they could, breaking the bank. In fact, the vote of Bank of Ghana had to be broken, and that is why the Bank of Ghana, yes, that's why the Bank of Ghana is suffering today with all the losses, and I'm saying that figuratively. That's why the Bank of Ghana...
For a moment, I thought you were doing like Fifi did the last time.
I don't understand what you are saying. But the point I'm making is that, look, the bank, we had to break the bank, and that is a figurative phrase, if you understand. And I use the Bank of Ghana just to highlight the fact that the bank is currently suffering and has posted huge losses never seen before in the history of the bank, just to win the 2020 general elections. The COVID-19 audit report also reveals how we raped the country, all in the name of winning the 2020 general elections. After winning the 2020 general elections, we do not have a solution to the myriad of problems that the people are faced with. In fact, pensioners this time around are not even spared. Investments that people made, they have had to suffer, crude haircuts. And purchasing power has just been eroded almost to nothingness. Inflation has gone off the roof, and education is a pale shadow of itself. So there is no solution to, the problems that we face. And all you see is an engineering to win the next election. That's what this is all about. It is not about solving the problems in education, solving the environmental problems, the sanitation problems, and even dealing with corruption. It's not about that. You don't see any verve, any energy when it comes to dealing with the concrete problems that we are faced with. But when it comes to preparing and engineering to win an election, then you have them show their, like we say in local power, scratchy powers. That is why you will have the Vice President, Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, present what seems like his own manifesto that we are not yet sure will be consistent with the NPP manifesto, given the fact that what he presents as his personal manifesto contradicts even the government that he's part of policies. A government that he's chairman of economic management team. Yet you have him portray to us as if he was an independent candidate running for the 2024 general elections. And then it is followed by a reshuffle like this, where people who either lost their primaries and so have no election to contend, or who decided not to go for elections again, are asked to go home. And then people who still have elections to win, but also may have stayed too long at their ministries and may not even be performing, like Ursula Owusu, like Howard Kumsin, are still at post. And then people who were not in, but have won primaries and come from constituencies that are threatened because of the very poor performance of the government, are given the opportunity to come into government, so they can do what? They will be at, they will be at a position where they can leverage government influence, government resources to save their seats and to help the party win an election. That is what this is all about. And I think that the people of Ghana must punish this administration like they have never punished an administration before, because they have actually taken the people of Ghana for granted for far too long. The issues that concern us, the issue about, even our football administration, for which many people had to, come out yesterday on the streets to demonstrate, is not the concern of this government. In fact, they had a unique opportunity in the 2018 crisis to have put football and sports generally on a very good pedestal. It is not happening. That is not their focus. The focus is on how to win the next election. And that is what this reshuffle is about. And I am just so disheartened that we don't seem to appreciate the ordeal that the ordinary Ghanaian is going through today. And the focus simply is just about winning the next election willy-nilly. And it's just disheartening, Randy. And I think that the people of Ghana, like I have said, must punish this administration like they have never punished an administration before. Because the abysmal performance that they have put up, you don't even see them show remorse. You don't even see them make efforts to rectify the problems that their abysmal performance have caused. All they are interested in is to play games with us to win the next election. And to do what with the power?
Randy,
just a minute.
Two very quick issues. Elijah Suhini here is mentioning the fact that we broke the Bank of Ghana, and it's not true. It is not true. The central bank, in any case, I've said it here, is a lender of last resort. It is a bank for the government. By 2020, when we had a COVID instance, I was in Parliament then. One of the first things government had to do was resort to its banker to ensure that we had the resources to fight this. And then again, in 2022, those were the two instances that the central bank actually funded government activities. I don't think that government is set out to break the vault like he wants Ghanaians to believe.
In 2022, did you follow due process? You said you were in Parliament in 2022.
In 2022,
yes.
In 2022, obviously, at a particular point in time, we had lost access to.
No, I'm not talking about the reasons for
the reasons for breaking the bank.
Did you follow the act?
Has to.
I thought you were going to say.
We had always said.
But you're not giving our reasons for
the central bank is the lender of last resort and is the banker to government. What happened in 2022 was that the government always has a running account with the central bank. At a point in time, yes, there was a balance because the central bank was the banker of the central bank. Just like me, just like between me and my banker. If I have issues,
is done.
Yes, but the point is that between myself and my bank, if I have issues, no, but the point is making. If I have issues, I've been here. We've spoken about this. If I have issues and I go to my bank, it's for my bank to ensure that I don't go bankrupt. So if my bank saves me from not going bankrupt, I mean, what use will be the central bank if the whole economy goes bust and the central bank is still in existence? It is a role of the central bank to play. It's a role that the central bank has to play.
I'm surprised that a person,
a person, or you were a banker,
has been in Parliament for 4 years.
Yeah.
Will be speaking this way.
I am not. Randy, what I'm saying is that look, if the central bank
on what basis did the central bank revoke licenses of many other people?
Those
banks whose licenses were revoked, don't they also have reasons for doing what they did? But there was due process that didn't follow.
What is there was some criminality. That is why we are. That is why we are where we are.
I am
with
saying
issues like that.
In this country, there are people who are in jail or have gone to jail for breaching procurement laws, not by stealing money, for breaching procurement laws.
Certainly.
Yes, and so we do not take the breach of laws lightly. And I don't expect you to make that case.
What I'm saying,
if a central bank is enforcing laws and is going to take on commercial banks and even revoke licenses on the basis of people not conforming to laws, and the bank itself is engaged in what he engaged in, you can't sit here and rationalize it.
It went beyond the limit for the short-term lending.
Why are you behaving as if you don't? I have had this discussion with you not less than 3 times on this program.
We have.
Why are you behaving as if
we have. But anyway, moving on.
You have to move on. It's not a matter
moving on.
You can.
And Sweeney wants us to believe that the economy is such in a situation that look, you can say whatever you want. Me.
I'm not saying the economy is in a.
But look at all the indicators. All the indicators include.
Which one?
Look at all the indicators.
Which one?
Whether I want to look at the economic growth, whether I want to look at the depreciation of the city. All the indicators. We have done better. We have done better than this between 2013 and 2016.
Seriously?
See, of course. I mean, all the indicators are there. All the indicators are there.
Which ones? Which ones are better?
Look at depreciation of the city.
Depreciation of the city.
Between 2013 and 2016, the city was depreciating at an average of 17% per annum.
And it was 1 city for 3.
You see, you are looking at absolute.
No, it was 1 city 3.4, right?
And nobody, no economist or manager of an economy will be looking at absolute figures like we are looking at rates and percentages. Rates and percentage. That is what happens.
When Dr. Bawumia,
are you serious?
Said that. When Dr. Bawumia said that, the biggest determinant of economic performance is your pocket. Was he speaking as an economist?
It was true. It was true then. It was true then.
Yes.
It's true.
He was at Malatama.
It was true then when he said that.
Yes.
Today it is true.
So
what we are saying for the programs and policies that we set out to implement in 2017, as a government, we have met with challenges that has derailed us.
No, let's stick to depreciation.
Let's stick to depreciation.
So
that's what
if you say the pocket is the determinant of the performance of the economy, and he asks you, but are you saying that 1 city to 4 cities is worse?
It's worse than 1 city.
And what I'm saying,
30 cities.
What I'm saying is that if
the pocket is the determinant
in economics or in finance, you don't look at absolutes like this. You more look at the rates of depreciation or appreciation of the currency. Nobody anywhere. The pockets in managing an economy, you don't look at absolute figures like that. You look at the rates of depreciation, and that is what pertains.
My pocket. You
say
that
this was the economy. Was he an economist when he went to Malatama and picked that thing of Milu?
My point is that if you look at all these indicators,
just listen to me a minute. You said that what the vice president said was true then and it's true now.
Yeah, it is.
My pocket. Does my pocket determine level of depreciation?
The $1 in my pocket then was 4 cities.
Today
the $1 in my pocket is 12 cities.
This whole thing about
think there's nothing wrong?
It's about planning to be able to retain your capital. Many a times you hear traders, and I'm a sikashi, I launch cash. Why? Because maybe at the time they got their wares, so the time they sold them, they are unable to replace the quantum of their wares or their stock. This is where the problem is. But when it is relatively stable,
if like the currency is stable, does it matter when I replace it?
It is stability of the currency. That is crucial.
Yes.
And when you look at the performance of the currency, you look at the rate. You don't look at the absolute figures. So those are my points. Those are my points. Yes. In economics and finance, that's what we do.
Which major market is in your constituency?
Oh, we have La Paz New Market.
Okay. Unfortunately, you are not contesting the election. I'd have asked you to go there tomorrow.
Oh, you don't even have to, because I'm always there.
No, and go and tell them what you are.
I'm always there. I'm always there. Today, the traders. I relied on the executive.
Pascal is showing his boss the efficient new technology they've installed. She is pleased, but now she's asking, why is that still there? Pascal explains that he hired a security goat to protect the data shed. The boss is not so pleased anymore. If you haven't upgraded to cloud storage yet, it's time to get business done better with MTN Business.
Good afternoon, Mr. Ampedu. Good afternoon, Mr. Asari. How is business doing? My business is collapsing. Why is your business collapsing? I sold my products and services to my clients on credit, and my debtors are not paying their debt. Have you heard of Rosic Consult Limited, a debt recovery company operating in all the 16 regions of Ghana? Not at all. Mr. Ampedu, all you need to do is to contact them on their customer service line. I recommend Rosic Consult Limited, a debt recovery company to financial institutions, businessmen and businesswomen, other companies, and also individuals. Rosic Consult has 98.4% debt recovery rate. We have professional debt recovery managers. You are assured of swift debt recovery. No recovery, no commission. For Rosic Consult Limited, no more write-offs. And we pre-finance the recovery ourselves.
We are back bringing you the latest lineup from Betway. Betway starts strong with their front two with Free Play Friday and Swipe Bet. In the middle, you've got all the control with Cash Out and Build a Bet. Plus, with Win Boost, you can boost your sports bet. At the back, they have Smart Picks and the Partial Daily Jackpot. You always get way more with Betway.
This advert has been vetted and approved by the Gaming Commission of Ghana. Bet responsibly. No under 18. Terms and conditions apply. Betway. Get way more.
Over 18 years in business, Appointed Time Printing Limited has delivered quality service to some of Ghana's well-known brands. With our equipment capacity, we are able to deliver 1,500 pieces of polo and t-shirts in 1 hour. This is only possible with us. For retailers and wholesalers, we offer for sale high-quality polo shirts and t-shirts in different colors at affordable prices. We have a one-stop shop for all creative designs and billboards, 3D signages, flexi banners, car branding, stickers and posters. Locate us at the old GNTC building near Swansea Shopping Arcade, Accra. Contact us on 0501 454165, 0501 454167. Connect with us on Instagram, Twitter and Facebook at Appointed Time GH. Appointed Time Printing Limited. Our printing is a
Enjoy the fruits of your labor, they say, but as humans, aging and physical infirmity stands our way of enjoying our mansions and homes. It often becomes challenging, if not impossible, to use our stairways day in, day out. With portable American pneumatic vacuum elevators, PVs, you are assured of unlimited enjoyment of your mansions and homes. It's a self-supported elevator for vertical movement of humans and goods at homes and offices. The original comes in 3 custom-made models with wheelchair accessibility. Call it luxury, but it's a necessary imperative for vertical mobility. Do not let aging or infirmity limit you. Get one for your easy vertical mobility at home. It's affordable and can be installed in just 3 days without modification to your existing building. It's however easier to incorporate it at the construction stage. We also have traditional Fuji elevators and escalators for your high-rise buildings and malls. Visit Lifts and Elevators Company Limited at Sakumono for your elevators nationwide. For free consultation to call or WhatsApp us on 0200-535-515. Lifts and Elevators, the elevator people.
Star Assurance, your solid partner.
Mommy.
Michelle,
Different era, better result. Time has changed and time has brought Kel Choco Toothpaste. Healthy gums, anti-cavity, fresher breath, and it whitens teeth. Kel Choco Toothpaste. Sankofa.
Yenchi. Kel Choco Toothpaste.
Happy smile.
This advert is FDA approved.
Pascal is showing his boss the efficient new technology they've installed. She is pleased, but now she's asking, why is that still there? Pascal explains that he hired a security guard to protect the data shed. The boss is not so pleased anymore. If you haven't upgraded to cloud storage yet, it's time to get business done better with MTN Business.
Star Assurance, your solid partner.
Over 18 years in business, Appointed Time Printing Limited has delivered quality service to some of Ghana's well-known brands. With our equipment capacity, we are able to deliver 1,500 pieces of polo and t-shirts in 1 hour. This is only possible with us. For retailers and wholesalers, we offer for sale high-quality polo shirts and t-shirts in different colors at affordable prices. We have a one-stop shop for all creative designs and billboards, 3D signages, flexi banners, car branding, stickers and posters. Locate us at the old GNTC building near Swansea Shopping Arcade, Accra. Contact us on 0501 45 4165 0501 45 4167. Connect with us on Instagram, Twitter and Facebook at Appointed Time GH. Appointed Time Printing Limited. Our printing is a solution.
Right, welcome back to the show. If you just joined us, this is Good Morning Ghana live on Metro TV. I have the Honorable Hussein Isa and the Honorable Malaji Al-Hassan Suhini. And also to remind you that our conversation with the Minerals Commission will be coming up pretty shortly. And there's some latest and good news as far as local content is concerned. And the CEO, Mr. Martin Ayisi, will be here to take us through all of that. So just stay tuned to Good Morning Ghana and Metro TV for that as well. Now, what does wealth mean to you? Do you want to live like a tycoon? Remember, as God the Mullah got the power. Ghana's newest lottery game draws live on Adom TV at 9 a.m., 12 noon, and 6 p.m. daily. Now pick up your phones, tablets, and computers and download the Gamepark Games app on Play Store. You can also play on their website at www.gameparkgames.com or by dialing *946# on all networks. Just choose 4 numbers from 0 to 9. It's easy to play and easy to win. Charlie, make we play this game and make some moolah. Nobody beats our odds in Ghana. Gamepark Games, more moolah, more power. This game is regulated by the National Lottery Authority and is not for persons under 18. Play responsibly. Ayesoko, the Akosombo dam be big, but Betway's cash out be bigger. Betway is giving you more control over every thrilling bet you place. Enjoy the biggest and most reliable cash out in Ghana on Betway without any hassle. Sign up today at betway.com.gh. Terms and conditions apply. It's not for persons under 18 and is regulated by the Gaming Commission of Ghana. Betway, get way more. And charcoal has essential medicinal properties that help remove toxins from our bodies. The natural absorptive property of charcoal helps to remove the bacteria that produces bad breath in the mouth, hence giving you a fresh breath. Kel Charcoal toothpaste has been formulated and produced under strict hygienic conditions with all the necessary production protocols and has been approved by the Food and Drugs Authority. Constant use of Kel Charcoal toothpaste gives you a good fresh breath, whiter teeth, reduces dental plaque, makes the gum healthy and strong, prevents cavity, upset stomach, hangover, and so on. Kel Charcoal toothpaste is recommended for adults and children from 6 years and above. Kel Charcoal toothpaste for white teeth and fresh breath all day long. This is another quality product from Samara Company Limited. Kel Charcoal toothpaste, happy, smile. And Kingdom Home Real Estate provides quality but affordable housing facilities for sale. The facilities are located at the serene environment of Ekuapim Ekropo and Ebri with the best weather conditions. They are a 30-minute drive from Accra and provide a modern touch of comfort. They also provide high-standard security service, plus CCTV, standby generators, constant water supply, and electricity. They are surrounded by lovely tourist sites such as the Ebri Botanical Garden, Boti Falls, Safari Valley Resorts, etc. All you need to do is to pay 70% upfront and spread the remaining 30% over a 2-year period with no interest payment. You can locate the Ebri properties close to the Ebri Girls School and the Kropon properties right after Latte Junction. You can reach them on 0559-761-144 or 0555-621-611. You can also check them out on their website, www.kingdomhomerealestate.com, and also their Facebook page. And Blue Jeans Energy Drink has been on the Ghanaian market for over 20 years. They already know what it does for the body. It contains vitamins and nutrients like vitamin B2, B3, B6, B12, as well as taurine and guarana, which are known to boost your strength and energy, as well as promote high performance and endurance. Blue Jeans Energy Drink has been tested and tried. It's indeed the best. Blue Jeans Energy Drink is for bold and active men and women. So go on, grab a cold can and power your day. It's in shops nationwide. For bulk purchases, contact Budget Cash and Carry Limited on 0208 128 190 or 055 001 0000. Okay. So, Zwini, your party held a presser yesterday. It was addressed by Fifi Fiavikwete, the General Secretary of your party. John Dramani Mahama, President you can trust. And so it started by looking at the, who your party believes President Mahama is, dealt with issues of economic revitalization and tax reform. Then there was the anti-corruption and governance, and then job creation and industrialization, agriculture and rural development, then the infrastructure and development projects, education and health, environmental protection and sustainable development, then it went on to also speak about the NPP's candidates and talked about 6 critical deficits that he is suffering, which makes him unfit for leadership, unlike John Dramani Mahama. And so he spoke about vision deficit and gave those details, responsibility deficit, and gave details of that, credibility deficit, did same for that. And then gratitude deficit. He also spoke about that. And then he went on to speak about competency deficit and then experience deficit. Also spoke about the illusion of change, which has to do with the government reshuffle, and then concluded on it as well. I said that a vote for Dr. Bawumia is a third term for the failed Akufo-Addo government. Can you take us through some of these details?
Well, Randy, I think that the General Secretary of the NDC, speaking on behalf of the rank and file of the party, couldn't have put it any better. I mean, this election, of course, is going to be about experience. It's going to be about the one you can trust. And it's going to be about a record of delivery. Given the myriad of problems that we are faced with, we cannot afford a try and error, leader at this point in time. We need to be very clear about the choices that we are presented with, and we need to be very bold in making those choices. Look, Randy, His Excellency President Mahama, as Vice President, working with the late Professor Mills and doing what has become, if you like, a tradition when it comes to economic management. That's chairing the economic management team of the Professor Mills-led government, posted the highest GDP growth ever in the history of this country as head of the economic management team of Professor Mills. And the record is there. The opponents have tried, like they have always done, to muddy the facts. And so when these things are pointed out to them, they claim that he was an economic management team chair and used some, irrational logic to propose a name, when the records show that the name that they gave was just part of the economic management team. But yes, as economic management team chair, this country posted the highest growth ever. Never before have we been able to achieve that. He also, as economic management team chair, helped the Professor Mills-led government to attain single-digit inflation for the first time in the Fourth Republic and maintained it for the longest time ever. Maintained it for the longest time ever. Then he became president and inherited the good of the Professor Mills administration and some of the challenges that it came with. One of the two major challenges, Randy, that he took on board had to do with our fiscal space. Fiscal space. And that is when he made the very famous speech, which once again has been, propagandized and twisted around for so many years, and it is important that we set the record straight. The famous speech about Ghanaians eating the flesh to the bone. Now, what was it in reference to? You will recall that when President Kufuor was handing over power in 2009, he handed the NDC government a hot potato, the single spine salary structure. Professor Mills, with his ingenuity, negotiated with Labour to defer its implementation. But eventually, the implementation began, where we thought that it was going to be revenue neutral. Unfortunately, it wasn't. Now, it led to doubling of salaries of workers in this country, in most cases. In most cases. And anybody out there who was working during the time of, this implementation of the single spine salary structure will attest to the fact that workers' incomes and salaries were augmented significantly. And so today, if you are employed and you think your salary is meager, you should imagine how it was like living on about half of that before the NDC implemented the single spine salary structure. Now, as a result of the doubling of salaries of workers in some cases, we did not have fiscal space. So all the revenue that we raised locally was used to pay salaries and also service our debts. And that is why he made that speech, that as a people we had eaten to the bone. But then you hear the propagandists turn it around as if to say that he had eaten to the bone. I mean, that is how dishonest they have been. But what did he do? By the time that he was leaving office, the fiscal space had been created, and the debt to GDP was now about less than 60%, when middle income countries are supposed to be doing about 70%. He had created that fiscal space for the government of Nana Akufo-Addo. Again, he inherited the electricity problem known as Dumsor. Now you recall, and for those who may not be old enough, under President Kufuor there was Dumsor. And that is why President Kufuor, in managing the problem, brought in some generators that his own boss at the VRA, Dr. Rekrubrebe, described as, what do you call them? Toy machines. That was his way of managing the Dumsor. That was a temporary measure that was put in place. Under President Mills, there was Dumsor. Under President Mahama, when he took over, like I said, he took over the good and some of the challenges. One of the two key challenges was the Dumsor problem, because previous governments had neglected investment in the generation capacity of this country. But being the leader, the honest leader, the visionary leader that he was, he did not shift the blame. He did not blame his predecessors. He stood before the people of Ghana in Parliament and promised to fix the energy crisis. And by the time he left office, he did. He increased our generation capacity, which is not in doubt. In fact, this government now claims that he did it too much. He increased the capacity too much. He also ensured that one of the things that worked against the production or investment in that area was resolved with the introduction of ESLA, which was to bring a constant revenue stream to government so that that area will be freed of the debts and the legacy debts to attract investment, continuous investment into the sector. He did that. And so the financial challenge with regards to Dumsor was also fixed. It's not just a generation challenge that was fixed. Then the fuel problem. Today, as we speak, I know that the government is having a fuel challenge as far as energy production is concerned. And don't be surprised if a timetable for Dumsor comes out, anytime soon. He fixed that challenge by fast-tracking the Ghana Gas project, which is not only providing fuel, but also helping us save, the foreign exchange that we had together to import fuel into this country. And it's also even catering for our domestic gas usage. So he did all of this. He did not blame anybody. He did not pass the buck. He fixed the problem. And so he has that track record of being a man who, when he has to support to deliver, he does it to the best of his ability. And when he is leading, he leads with vision and he leads with dedication. Look, when it comes to infrastructure, I mean, he's already been crowned the infrastructure king. Talk about the roads, talk about the hospitals, talk about the schools. And across the country, it is not in doubt the infrastructure transformation and explosion that he led. Talk about policy, and people will tell you that he was a policy titan. I mean, some of the, enduring policies, especially in the banking sector today, were as a result of the leadership that he provided when we discovered
that the banking sector had issues, and the laws that were passed is what actually helped in, the banking collapse that this government engaged in, which should have been a banking cleanup if they had the foresight. So clearly, His Excellency John Dramani Mahama comes to the table with a record of delivery, a record of honesty, and a record that you can count on, especially in these times of crisis. On the other hand, you have a man who is a flip-flop, a complete flip-flop, a dishonest person, somebody who blows hot and cold. In fact, even in the area of faith, Randy, even in the area of faith, he blows hot and cold. Something as private and as personal as that. He's unable to portray, really who he is. Today he's Timothy, tomorrow he's Mahmoud. I mean, the Quran in Baqarah, Surah Al-Baqarah, I think chapter 14, says it clearly that such people are hypocrites, and that people of faith must be cautious of such people who will today associate with this faith and say, oh, we are with you. You are the person that, you are the people that really are serving the living God. And tomorrow they associate with that person and say, oh, we know it all and it is you that we worship with. Even in that area that is supposed to be personal and private, he is somebody that you cannot trust. When it comes to his record as running mate, promising heaven and earth, we can still recall what he said about what we were going to get from the implementation of the 1 million one constituency. What did he say we were going to get in our communities? Basically, he said there will be no village, no community with a water or toilet problem when that policy is implemented. The question today is, what do we have? 1D1F was supposed to address the unemployment problem. Today, unemployment is in the double digits. When he took over, unemployment was in a single digit, between 5 to 8%. Today is about 13%. So clearly, even the attempt to distance himself from this administration has been greeted with a lot of disdain from ordinary Ghanaians, that it doesn't require me again to highlight how dishonest that he has been. Look, this is Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, who after his so-called bold speech could not even make a bold statement on LGBTQ. A person of faith like that could not even make a bold statement on LGBTQ. Again, he could not make a bold statement on NAPCO, a program that was run from his office. He could not make a bold statement on NAPCO.
Over. Why should he speak about it?
There are still people out there who are demanding their arrears. They are there. They have formed an association. They want to know their faith. NAPCO was supposed to check unemployment. And I'm telling you that after implementing it for 2 years and pumping so much money down the drain in the name of creating jobs for the young people, unemployment is in the double digits today. So I'm saying that a bold statement of the nature that he presented should have been speaking to programs such as NAPCO that was run from his office. He could not. And the worst of it all, and I'm wrapping up on this, is that you had him, betray his boss, the one who has given him the opportunity like no one in the MPP has had. In fact, like Kobna Japan said, he would have loved to be waived, to be given the opportunity for his membership requirement to be waived, so he will be vice president for 7 years. The man who has grandfathered him into the NPP made him vice president of the Republic of Ghana. He says that his policy of running a government with about 100 ministers is bad, and he will change it. whilst he is still a vice president. He says that his policy of introducing emission taxes are bad. He will take it out. While still, projecting himself as head of the economic management team. He says betting, tax on bet is bad. He's going to change it. And yet he is still chair of the economic management team. How ungrateful can you be to the man who has made you his vice president, for which reason you are chair of the economic management team? And you know what he says? He says he takes pride in the advice he gives. But his boss is so hard-hearted that he doesn't take his advice.
Yes, Zen.
Randy.
Yes, sir.
I'll be very quick on this one.
Please be.
And some of the points that were raised in the presser yesterday, I had assumed that the NDC itself is not too clear as to how to respond to what Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia did last week Wednesday. Initially, I heard that the ranking member for the Finance Committee was going to have an event to respond to it. And then at the very tail end, it was cancelled. And then this whole arrangement was hurriedly put in place for Honorable Fifi Kwete to come and hoodwink Ghanaians. See, a number of issues were raised. I'll attempt to address some of the issues, particularly those that my friend here, Elijah Suini, raised. It is true. In 2011, our economy grew by 14%. Unprecedented. It was at the advent of First Oil. It was a level of FDI that had come into the system that actually propelled the growth. For any economist who was watching it, who asked you, was it an inclusive growth? No. But the most important thing is, when you look at an economy and you want to judge an economy, it is more about the trend over a number of years and not just an event. What happened from 2011 up until 2016 when the NDC exited? From the 2011, when the economy grew at 14%, persistently and consistently, it declined to 3.7 in 2016. And that is what we have to bet our minds to. You were able, the economy grew at that percentage in 2011 because of First Oil and amount of investment that had come into the system. Moving on from there, 2011 to 2016, the economic growth rate declined up to 3.7 when we took over in 2017. What has happened? Under the government of the New Patriotic Party, even without the challenges that NPP had to face in government, and some of them we could have really avoided some of those challenges. So what
accounted for the growth in 2017?
In 2017,
yes.
Averagely, we have grown the economy from 2017 to 2022.
I asked a specific question because of the 2010 growth issue you raised.
Yeah.
So I'm asking you, 2017 and 2018, who was responsible for that growth?
Randy, there had been a change in government, a change in focus, a lot of the things. New people at the helm of affairs of managing this economy. And sometimes even the people that you engage.
We're saying you have the data.
Even the people that you engage.
Oil and non-oil for 2017, 2018, we would all find out what was responsible for the growth in 2017 and 2018.
There was also the coming on stream of a second
two more. Yes.
Yes. But what I'm saying,
that's what
my point, just like I made earlier on, you don't look at the event of 2010, 2011 and judge. You look at the trend. Since then, since the 14% growth rate, what happened? Consistently a decline. Up until we got to 3.7. That's why I don't really see
but is it not the same thing from 2017?
But look at 2017 to 2019. We had a consistent growth.
We didn't have
to 2019 until 2020.
We didn't have an upward growth.
But we had consistent growth.
No, why is it consistent?
The consistency is what is saying. Economy is growing at 7%.
Yes.
Every year it should grow at 7% or more or more.
But that didn't happen.
But this is where my point here is that from the 14%, consistent decline. Consistent decline to 3.7 in 2016. So this is not a record that I would be really happy about.
Okay.
They went on to mention single-digit inflation under President Mills. What was the record under John Dramani Mahama? That's just what we are asking.
Okay.
You go on to ask physical space in the government as a result of the rice water that could for a number of years. It's true. What did you do?
Okay.
What did you do to create space within the budget? What we did when we came, we passed an act like the Capping Act to be able to manage the transfers to statutory funds, to be able to create that space to enable us pursue our priorities. I'm saying what we did under the conditions, but you don't just complain about the issues and leave them.
Okay.
You are talking about banking sector. You knew that in 2015. You had asset quality review report. What did you do? You watched on.
We passed the
You
laws
watched
that
on.
you used.
You watched on.
We passed the laws
You
that
watched on until we came into power in
There was no
2017.
law to correct it.
You recollect at a point in 2015-2016 in one of Dr. Manuel's lectures, in one of his lectures at the National Theatre, he had told us and he mentioned the number of banks that were on life support at the time. Yet, so the government knew and they were watching on, doing nothing and hoping and praying that something happens. Something is not going to happen. We took the steps that had to be taken. It cost us so much, but hey, we fixed the problem.
From it.
See, talking about Dumso, at least spoken about the better. We had sustained Dumso at the point in 2015. For the first time, we had 12 hours of power on and 24 hours off. I'm not saying it. It's a record. It's a record, and we all lived through this.
Why?
And what happened?
Why?
Keep signing IPPs.
Why?
Keep signing on IPPs. And today, we've had to contend of the remnants of Dumso. Today, we are still contending with the big cost of the excess capacity charges that we have to incur. Did we go or did we come? Did we go or did we come? You talk about infrastructure. Every government has infrastructure. Every government does. And in fact, in 2020, the record is there. When the president, Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, came to parliament, he had a whole document prepared, pictures, detailed, of infrastructure. Every government does infrastructure. And the NPP, today, we have done more infrastructure than the NDC.
Okay.
Beyond that, he went on the other hand, attacking the person of Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia. And for me, certainly as a Muslim and himself a Muslim, look, the same prophet that he is talking about admonished us to live in peace with our neighbors. We're in this country. When the chief imam was celebrating his centenary birthday, he was in Christ the King. He was in Christ the King to celebrate his birthday. What do you say about that? Me, I'm a Muslim.
I didn't talk about
when I am campaigning in my constituency, I go to the churches.
Did I say
so what is the problem about? And you know my family, Randy. You know how intertwined we are. You know how.
You have always been Fuseni.
I have always been Fuseni.
I said
Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia. Look, and you know what pertains in the northern side in northern Ghana. In that era.
All right, when you
see, no, Randy, I think that I did a little more. You're talking today of betrayal of his boss.
Okay.
Even as vice president, when John Dramani Mahama took over from Mills, he had to come and lay out his vision, and that's what I was expecting him to do around this time. He directed to do this, directed to do that. That's what I expect. And what Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, it is not a departure or betrayal from his boss who are giving it up. He praised him. He acknowledged their good work. Okay. He took responsibility for whatever is happening under this government, and went on to say that given the opportunity, this is the direction. Yes. This is the direction in which I want to take.
The Honorable Samson,
Randy,
what does that
mean? North region.
Randy,
that of all the 86,
Randy, no appointee,
apart from the regional minister.
Yes, Randy, this I've heard this comment. Obviously,
it's very
obviously,
it's
very with the 16 regions.
Yes,
with the 16 regions, it brings out new challenges, and that we should have a whole look at this.
Okay.
Yes, representative, yes, but as to how to meander around 16 regions.
You mean not even a deputy minister?
Not a deputy. Not even.
When it was then, I'm sure that's why Dr.
All right, so that would be.
It might not be a minister, but he has a significant role in government.
Up next, my conversation with the Minerals Commission.
Pascal is showing his boss the efficient new technology they've installed. She is pleased, but now she's asking, why is that still there? Pascal explains that he hired a security guard to protect the data shed. The boss is not so pleased anymore. If you haven't upgraded to cloud storage yet, it's time to get business done better with MTN Business.
Star Assurance, your solid partner.
Welcome back to the show. If you just joined us, this is Good Morning Ghana live on Metro TV. And it's time for a conversation with the Minerals Commission and the CEO, Mr. Martin Ayisi is here with us. Good morning, Martin.
Morning, Randy.
How are you doing?
I'm well, and yourself?
By the special grace of God, I'm doing well. We've been looking at a decade of local content and local participation in the mining sector, and I see that we now have, as at last week, we were looking at up to edition 4.
5th edition.
5th edition. So we're waiting for 6th edition. That's what you are yet to do.
March, it will come in March.
Okay, that's next month.
Yes.
Next month. And you said that we shouldn't expect any serious changes. There might just be a couple of them.
Oh, it is serious, but numbers-wise, no.
Okay.
So, for example, in 2002, the items on the list, they were 41.
Mm-hmm.
And then we saw a significant jump from 41 to 50. This year, I mean, I'm here to discuss with industry, but I can give you what basically we're going to do. Rather than increase the number from 50, you see, there are 3 things that you see on the list there. Items that are open to everyone. That is whether you're a Ghanaian or a foreigner. Reason, maybe lack of capacity. I mean, total lack of capacity. So you allow people to come in. Even that one, we tell you, give it to a Ghanaian. Then the second category is where we say, as for this one, we can do it. So 100%. You know, fully preserved. Then the third category is where there is some capacity, but if you are not careful, we might create a monopoly. Sometimes just one person or one company or 2. Reasonably, if I get 3 or 4, then we will, let's say, move from, let's say 0, or if you like 3 for all, to like 20%, 30%, 40%, etc. So we increase the percentage that you should give to Ghanaians based on capacity. Once there's capacity, we preserve it. The other one is where we open it. So you see some items on the list, 20%, some 30%. Some will move from like finance and insurance. It used to be 20%, we move straight to 60%. So what is likely to happen now is that there are some areas who will increase it. Okay? You will see that. And then we've also discovered that there are foreign companies who have come to set up here. And then they are in a position to provide many of these items. So we are also going to, we're also going to restrict it. So basically, this is what we are going to do. So you don't see me increasing the items from beyond 50, but within it, we will change the percentage. On top of my head, you remember I told you the other time that if you look at 2022 reports, just 12 companies spent $150 million on explosives. $150 million on explosives. It's open. And there are different types. The one that they use, and they call them detonators, the ones that they mix the ammonium nitrate and diesel, okay, on site. The one that we say they should no longer transport. Okay, the emulsion. It's basically you mix ammonium nitrate and diesel. But now almost all the mines now have it on site now. I mean, they are PRT kind of thing. Except a few quarries that they still transport them this time under various serious street security protocols. So then the question I keep asking myself is that, should you allow foreign companies to import ammonium nitrate? My answer is no. So whilst we may not have the capacity, for certain types of explosives that are not produced here, like some explosives used to come from like Ukraine, Russia and co. The detonators, those are not done here. Maybe in the medium to long term, we need to see if they can manufacture them here. But so you have companies that have set up here that are in explosive space. Ghanaians have come in now. So the likes of Orica, Solar Nitro, I think is Indian, Maxam and co. They are here. They spend billions. Some of them are even supplying the West African sub-region. You cannot get up and say they should just leave. That's bad for business. But then some of the things they use in getting the various forms of explosives, can they buy from Ghanaians? So should you allow a foreign company that are set up here, for instance? Those are some of the things that I'll be discussing with them. A foreign company you've come to set up here, we're not asking you to leave. Your investment is protected, do your business. But some of the products that you import to make your explosives, why should we allow you? Can't you give it to a Ghanaian? So for example, my research is telling me they spend a lot of ammonium nitrate, okay, in making these so-called explosives. They just mix it with diesel. So you see why they use a lot of fuel, apart from what they use for their various machinery and plants. Why can't, for example, company A say, let's say you, Randy, you do the importation of ammonium nitrate. So the explosives bit, like we can say, in the case of ammonium nitrate, the importation should be done by Ghanaian. These are some of the things we are thinking about. So I may not necessarily increase the numbers, or we may not increase the numbers, but we will tweak. Yeah, because it has come to our attention, and it's a lot of money. Why? You let us import for you, you manufacture it.
All right, so
but we will not ask you to leave.
So I'm looking at the public notice you put out about the new procurement list, the 5th edition.
Yes.
And you refer to LI 2431, which came into force on 22nd December 2020. And you list the purpose of the regulations. A is to promote job creation through the use of local expertise, goods and services, businesses and financing in the mining industry value chain, and their retention in the country. B, to achieve the minimum local level and in-country spend for the provision of the goods and services in the mining industry value chain. C, increase the capability and international competitiveness of domestic businesses. And D, create mining and mineral-related support industries that will provide jobs and sustain economic development. So this four broadly define the purpose for LI 2431.
Or the entire local content situation. Okay. And if we're able to enforce it, whilst I wait for your question, if we're able to enforce it to the letter, it will be a game changer. Particularly the last one. That's where we need to do a lot of work.
Create mining and mineral-related support industries that will provide jobs and sustain economic development.
So the manufacturing of the various inputs they use. The manufacturing of the various inputs they use, they import them. So grinding media, which they use in the extraction of the ore. I see a lot of proposals. In fact, somebody, the other day, some Indian companies said they've set up along Pram Pram. And maybe in the next 3-4 months or so, they will commission. That's a lot of money. I'll just run through the budget for grinding media. So a whole company can set up and be manufacturing this grinding media stuff for the mining company. You understand that? And then if you go to the list again, you see that some of them have to do some services and inputs. So people can set up and then do that.
So let's start off with the 4 broadly, and then you will tell us how you intend to use your regulatory functions and the relevant laws to achieve this. And then we'll get to the list of 50 and try and refresh the memories of our audience again with what is available for the Ghanaian and how the Ghanaian can get involved in it. So the first one says, promote job creation through the use of local expertise, goods and services, businesses and financing in the mining industry value chain and their retention in the country. This is loaded.
Yeah, so it says promote job creation. Yes.
Through the use of local expertise, goods and services, businesses and financing in the mining industry value chain and their retention in the country.
So for every mine, for every one job you create at a mine, you have about at least 3-4 times of a job that is also created indirectly. So that's why we have direct and indirect. So you go to, let's say, Gold Fields, okay? Their full-time staff may be like 1,000, 2,005. Those who have been fully employed by Gold Fields Takwa. Then they will say, oh, for us, we will give out contract mining to Company A. So that Company A, you understand that? Contract mining, basically, any open pit is preserved for Ghanaians. All that the person is supposed to do is to just come, drill, blast, load and haul. He'll come with his own trucks. Remember, he'll buy the trucks from somewhere. There may be a company somewhere that he may import and he'll be supplying them. So that's jobs created. He will hire his own people. So all, maybe next week when I come, I'll show you the various figures for direct, because we'll move now to skills development. You see direct and indirect. So if you take one company like this, they have direct jobs of 1,200. The indirect about 4,000. All those 4,000, they are just providing various services. So the contract miner will bring his own technical expertise, hire his own workers and bring them to the site. So that is that. You give out catering to a Ghanaian. You understand that? He will hire staff, because the mining environment is such that sometimes the food even have to be delivered underground. You can't come out in other places. So that is the kind of thing we are talking about. And all those services that we have listed there. If now I'm saying that, look, we are thinking of, let's say, allowing Ghanaians to do the importation of ammonium nitrate. That's a job for somebody. Okay? That runs into, because the explosives thing is the DNA of mining. And a host of other services. So medical services, for instance. Okay? Newmont has close to about between 8,000 to 10,000 people on medical services. Remember, once you are working there, your spouse and children are covered. So when you give a job to a group of doctors, or even the person doesn't need to be a doctor, you can be that entrepreneur, set up a business and then hire medical doctors and co. All kinds of people, because there you have to be on site. Every, they set up clinics there, hospitals, and all the various allied, because, the injury and all those, so you have to be on site. Down, take there, in the forest or in some bush somewhere. So all those things, so that is job for somebody. Okay, 8,000 people on medical facility just in Newmont. You have created jobs for somebody. You remember, those people will also be buying. So you may have somebody, for instance, where company who has a medical, contract at Newmont. will now be, let's say, having a contract, maybe a NS chemist, East Cantonment chemist, or whatever chemist. Please, I'll need regular supply of these drugs. So that's how the whole thing works. Okay, so if you're not careful and you don't have a foothold on it and do your proper research, the foreigners will get in. Randy, at a point in time, mining companies were importing bottled water. I was then a young lawyer, bottled water. And if you allow them, look, now you have several companies providing bottled water, Awake, whatever. I don't care whether even some of the companies are foreign owned. I think Awake is owned by this famous, well-to-do man who is doing very well, Casapreco. You understand that? And then now we have ICE also. I think is it Asamajan or something? Then I don't know who owns the. Yes, I don't know who owns the other two. The ones that people often use, Belacqua. Even if it's owned by a foreigner, he has set up here, you pay taxes. You see, so you just advert your mind to the quantity of bottled water the mining companies buy. It's just mind-blowing. That's the kind of thing we are talking about. So set up here, produce their Awake. Don't allow them to bring bottled water. I've been seeing some bottled water that some shops do sell. Okay? Yeah. So that is the kind of thing that we mean by the first one.
Let's look at the second one.
Create jobs.
Achieve the minimum local level and in-country spend for the provision of the goods and services in the mining industry value chain.
So 2 examples. In our list, we say that 60% of your insurance placement must go to insurance companies that are in good standing as per the rule or directive of the National Insurance Commission. You must spend.
What about ownership?
When you say 60%, what it simply means that the directors and shareholders should be 100% Ghanaians.
Okay.
So just give me 1 second and let me give you a simple report here. And then you can understand what I'm saying. So this is one company. The annual reports have started coming in. They have not more than 1 month at the end of the year to bring the annual report, which contains 3 things. The approved plan that you have with Minerals Commission. Are you following on the commitment that you have? So here's a company. The company is saying that for insurance services, okay, they've listed 2 companies here. For example, they have the Ghana Union Assurance. They have the Enterprise. And then they put the figures here. The 2 together amounts to 2 million. So it means that this particular company is saying that I spent $2 million, not cedis, $2 million to insure all my assets, including my staff, at my mine. And he has given Minerals Commission not just a figure for the 2 companies that he has used, he's also giving us the name of the company. You know my job now? You know our job? My officers are poring over this to find out whether the 60% as indicated in the procurement list
has been met.
Yeah, so we'll just find out 60% of the $2 million. That's about how much?
1.2
million. So $1.2 million of these $2 million should have gone to insurance companies whose shareholders and directors are 100% Ghanaians. Now, these 2 he has provided here, when we check, and then we find out that at least 60% is not, they are not Ghanaians, that means that he has breached the law. So even if he should do 59, there will be a heavy fine. The less you do, the bigger the fine. So that's what we are doing now. We are going to check these 2 he has listed here. So that's how it works. That's our job now. It's just enough. It's not enough to just put this report away. Did you meet the 60% threshold?
Compliance.
And there's nothing here which this particular company, for instance, has told us that because of X, Y, Z, I didn't meet my threshold. So I'm assuming that at least 60% of the insurance companies listed here, are 100% owned by Ghanaians.
Right.
If not, they are in trouble.
Okay. So the third one, increase the capability and international competitiveness of domestic businesses.
Randy, you got to look beyond Ghana. For example, one of the cardinal principles or one of our mining policy is not just to attract investment in Ghana. We are focusing on 2 main things broadly. 1, to make Ghana the main mining destination for Africa. So when anybody gets up and say, I'm looking for gold, I'm looking for bauxite, he will look nowhere or no further than Ghana. That's number one. So to become the leading investment destination. Forget about, don't tell me South Africa is a mining giant. We know, but we get more exploration spend than them because of their regulatory framework. It's putting people off for exploration. So we could beat them too. That's number one. Then most importantly, we want Ghana to become the hub. So take a company like Maxam. They've set up here, it's an explosive company. They do end-to-end.
Foreign company?
Yes, foreign company. Okay, some Spanish or whatever. Okay, so they supply Burkina Faso. They supply Ivory Coast. In fact, they go even as far as even Liberia or Guinea. Do you understand? So that's the kind of thing we are talking about. You become a hub for mining. Even at a point in time, I think engineers and planners have some jobs in Liberia.
Yes.
So that's also what we are looking at. Because you see, we are ahead of our peers in the region. It's not the football kind of thing here. Where those days, I remember when we were in Saito, you could just assemble players 5 minutes to the game and we'll wallop everybody. Now, you could be embarrassed by Comoros or maybe whatever. So mining, we have a history, 100 years. In fact, some of the countries don't even certify their mining engineers. So the Burkina Faso delegation came here and I said, can anybody just be a mine manager? They said yes. And like I was, wow. You can do that in South Africa, you can do that in Australia, Canada, or even Ghana or Zambia. So what you have to do is to take advantage of your history, the skill set. You go to Burkina Faso, Guinea, Ivory Coast, DRC, Ghanaians are all over the place now. Now what I'm hearing is that they are also asking the Ghanaians to leave.
Because they've built capacity?
No, they are copying us. Okay. They say when you go to Ghana, they say you should leave. But the favorite destination is Australia. So that's the second one. Okay, not just attract investment, but become a hub where it will take time for them to catch up, our peers. And then there's one thing I need to emphasize, which is always good for Ghana. Governance. Okay, look at Ivory Coast. They just emerged from war, so they are now, getting back. They are, I think, doing well now in exploration. But take 4 countries. Burkina Faso, which until recently, they were attracting exploration more than any country in Africa. They attracted more exploration than even South Africa, even than DRC. Now you can't go to the bush in Burkina Faso. I'm told, 60 or 40% of the country is controlled by, it's dangerous. So clearly, when you tell an investor in Europe, Asia, anywhere that, that place is for certain, let's go, say, no. So you see why Ghana is ahead. That's number one. Same, Mali. Mali's reserves in lithium far bigger than Ghana. They are equally prospective for gold. In fact, they are number 1 in exploration. But in the southwest area is safe. The rest of the country is dangerous. But you have to spend more, on security because of the situation. So Mali, Niger, Burkina, nobody will now go there. Ghana will always be number 1. Beyond the skill set, the stability is what we have. You understand that? So this is the time to. So sometimes we tell the politicians, pour your heart out. Ghana is a free country. It's free speech, but we got to be very careful the way we do things. Everybody, and in a way, it's also kind of also affecting us negatively because in the West, when they are talking about investment, they don't just look at Ghana. They just say Africa. West Africa is unstable. Don't go there. And the flip side is that there are people who do galamsey also then come in now. You understand that? Okay. So that is that point. There's a big plus for us.
We started off with the 4th point, so I'm sure we've spoken about that already.
Yes.
Great mining and mineral-related support industries that provide jobs and sustain economic development. That was the first thing.
That is the one that if we spend maybe 90% of our resources, then we can now start saying that mining has really benefited Ghana like maybe what happens in South Africa.
Okay.
That you can have chains and chains of industry. Go to some areas where you see thousands of industrial complexes that are just providing all kinds of input for the mining industry, as you see in South Africa. Trucks, all those kind of things. So that's where to focus. The other ones are basic. We can handle that, but that's where the problem is.
So until the 6th edition comes out next month, March. What we have now is the 5th edition. Let's now go through the goods and services captured, the 50 captured in the 5th edition. And this is where you have local participation. And this could either be full or partial, right?
Yes.
There are some that are 100%.
Essentially 3. Some open to everybody. Like explosives now. Anybody can come in. Some totally preserved for Ghanaians. I think some are boldly written in red. That tells you danger, don't go there. Where you don't have any restriction, it means that anybody can come in and do it.
Whether you are Ghanaian or not.
Yes. And then the other one is...
So grinding media is open to everybody?
Yes, it's open to everybody.
Explosives, open to everybody?
Yes.
Cement and cement products?
Open.
Grout, quick and hydrated lime, electrical cables, high density polythene, general lubricants.
Randy, hang on for a second.
Yes.
Sometimes people will say, why do you open?
Yes.
Let me repeat. I keep saying this. Maybe you will remember, but let me just remind the general public.
Yes.
In the area of manufacturing, we are very careful. Randy, you can't go out there, ask for investors to come in. People come and build processing plants or industrial plants, $50, $100 million. Then you just get up and say, oh, this one is for Ghanaians, so get out. Nobody will come to your country again. So the manufacturing bits, if you look at the list, some of them are some kinds of inputs and bolts and nuts and all those things that people use here. Maybe what I can do, okay, and you also have to be very careful. You are not driving away the foreigners, but maybe a certain percentage should go to the locals. Yes. But you also have to be very careful.
Especially when there's demonstrable capacity.
Yeah, when there's demonstrable capacity. So I always keep assuring the industries that, look, in the area of manufacturing, we will not just change the rules overnight.
So what it means is that in all of this, we are yet to okay, so
just count so the items that are preserved for Ghanaians.
Okay, so there are general lubricants, but here you say incorporated in Ghana with exclusive Ghanaian directors and shareholders.
Yes.
General lubricants. Then you have retrading of tires. That's
so let me explain. So when you take general lubricants like this, it means that you cannot ask Total you can't give the job to Total. You can't give that job to Engine. You can't give that job to Vivo. You can only go to the likes of maybe Zain, because I remember they are registered with us, Gaso, and then the state-owned one. What is the name? Goil. They came back fighting and said Goil is not 100%, it's 99%. I said, well, that is the state.
Yeah, Goil is listed on the stock
exchange. Yes, but Total is also listed, and they have 4,000 workers. But the difference is that they will take their money out. Goil, the money will stay here.
You don't even care if you have foreign shareholders who will take their money away?
No. If we have capacity, we will not allow
I'm saying that you don't even care if Goil, for example, has foreign shareholders because it's listed on the stock exchange and the shares are open to non-Ghanaians.
So now you see why I'm happy you asked this question. You now see why when we were discussing the lithium thing, one of the things the president asked us is that ensure that when you go to the stock exchange, you don't have foreigners rushing in to come and buy. Then he even said a thing, look, Mr. Minister, Martin, then it's as good as not doing it, because why do you go and float on the stock exchange millions of dollars, then foreigners come and buy? When there's a problem, they pull their money out. You see the difference now? Yes, that was one of the...
I just asked a question.
Yes, that is, so that's my answer.
So my point to you is that if, for example, okay, not example, the fact is that Total Ghana is listed on the stock exchange. I'm a Ghanaian. I go and buy shares in Total Ghana. Goil is also listed on the stock exchange. A German goes to buy shares in Goil. Now, by your directives, Total will not be able to participate, although it has Ghanaian shareholding. But Goil will participate, although it has some foreign shareholding.
Oh, what is the percentage?
No, I'm asking if you go in to check all of this.
No, but I think God is 99% something, because some of the arguments we were coming, why are you allowing God when he's not 100%? But God is over 99 point something.
So you've done the checks?
Yeah, we've done all those checks. I mean, that we've gone past that debate. But Randy, before you ask the next question, let me let you understand this, and I think you know. Every country has its own interests.
Yes.
And they have what they call national security, strategic assets, economy. So maybe until recently, I think Obama, I don't know whether they've gone back to it. You know, US, they don't export oil.
Yes.
You understand? Yes. They do that for a purpose.
Yes.
No foreigner can go to Russia and apply to do exploration or mining for uranium.
Yes.
They will not allow you.
Yes.
Okay? Yes, because, you know, Russia is a nuclear power. So we also should be able to get up and say, oh, in this particular sector, there are billions out there. So is either, and you do it in three ways. Either you just find out that, look, you don't just have billions there, but there are several Ghanaian companies. So you just have to protect it, because Ghanaians will keep their money here. That's number one. Or even where there are no Ghanaians there, because it involves a lot of money, you must make a conscious effort, okay, as a Ghana government, okay, and then create opportunities for people to, you know, Mohamed Matia or Matia, that Malaysian Prime Minister, okay. So even where we don't have capacity, over the period, you have to introduce policies to push Ghanaians in that area, because it has become strategic for you.
So I see bolts and nuts. I see crucibles. I see plastic sample bags. I see calico bags. I see bullion boxes. I see chain link fencing, wire netting, barbed wire, etc. And these are not restricted to Ghanaians.
No, they are restricted. But sometimes they are. I mean, what annoyed me until recently was I saw that, is it plastic bags or something? Calico. This particular one, that is what even made some of us cringe. Overall and wear clothes. Until 2 years ago, it was just on the list like that. So we stopped it. I mean, these are things that could be done locally. Overall and wear clothes, this is the way the miners dress. But Randy, again, a little bit of advice, or let me say this publicly. We shouldn't be fixated about the fact that maybe I have increased the list from 50 to 100. It is not the number. Yes, numbers are important, because then you tend to capture more goods and services. So when, for example, Minerals Commission decide to increase the items from 50 to 100, we should not necessarily celebrate that, oh, now 100 items. No. You have to look at...
The quantitative must be complemented by the qualitative.
So you have over $2 billion being spent. That's about 33% of the expenditures of companies in 2022, 12 companies on goods and services. Okay? The 2022 report was based on, I think, 29 items. Because you see, when you introduce a new list, you grandfather existing contract before they expire. So if he's reporting, he has to report on the prior list. You understand that? So take contract mining. Contract mining. Out of the 50 items, this is just one item. That's $1 billion.
Can we look at it from this way? What are the top 5 expenditure items when it comes to goods and services in the mining industry?
Number 1 is contract mining.
Okay.
That is where the company decide that I'm not going to do the work myself. I'm going to give it out on contract for people to do it.
Contract mining.
Yes.
That's number 1.
That's about $1 billion. Okay. And the figure may double once Atlantic Lithium, Ahafo North, Azuma Resources, and Cadna, okay, start operating within the next year or 2.
Okay.
Yeah.
Then number 2.
Number 2, they use a lot of fuel. So as of 2022, that's about $436 million. You add lubricants, you are talking about $500 million.
Okay, so fuel and lubricants.
Yes, fuel and lubricants too, they spend a lot of.
Number 3.
Number 3. Then explosives.
Explosives.
Yes. Okay. It's also quite heavy.
Okay. Then number 4.
Number 4, I'll look at their financial services.
And
I'll make a comment there when you finish.
Okay, financial services. And then number 5.
Number 5, just a minute. Have I mentioned fuel and lubricants?
Yes. That's number 2.
Number 2.
So you've done contract mining number 1, fuel and lubricants number 2, explosives number 3, financial services number 4, and we are at number 5. Haulage. I'm sure that financial services will include insurance.
No, yes.
Okay.
I mean, they are separate on the list. But, Randy, the 5.
Yes, haulage.
Maybe the next question you should ask me now first, or let me explain rather than you asking. Are these preserved for Ghanaians?
That was going to be my question. Yes.
So haulage Ghanaians.
Wholly Ghanaian.
Wholly.
Okay.
That's about $100 million as of 2022.
Okay.
Wholly. So let me explain to the general public. If we have time, we'll look at how do you get in now, the requirements to go into that space. If we have time, we'll do it next week. So what it simply means is that if you want to do haulage, let's say manganese or bauxite or any other type of haulage as per our rules, you cannot give the contract to a foreign company. That's what it means. What is the other one? Fuel and lubricants. You know that one is dead now.
So fuel and lubricants is wholly Ghanaian.
Fully Ghanaian now.
And that's like what, 500 million?
Yes.
Okay.
It may get, and that's half of the total receipt of government.
Yes.
For mining.
Okay.
So again, Randy, you see why people need a lot of education, and people were fixated on sales, royalties, taxes, and things when we're doing the lithium discussion.
That's why you spend money to do this program. Okay, so let's look at contract mining, which is the big one.
Yes.
Yes.
Maybe number 2 now, until recently number 1.
Yes.
I'll tell you what number 1 will be.
Okay.
Contract mining.
Yes.
What's
the Ghanaian stake in it?
If it is open pit, 100%.
Okay.
Open pit simply means that if you are going to have surface mining, and overwhelmingly many of the mines are surface.
So we have open pit and
underground.
So open pit is 100% Ghanaian.
Yes.
And underground is what?
Now about 40.
40%.
It used to be 20, we moved to 30, now 40.
So it's now 40.
Yes.
Now, of the 1 billion spent, how much is spent on open pit as against
we're
underground?
talking about almost about 80% of that.
Oh.
Yeah, and then remember, many of the mines are surface operations.
Okay.
We are increasingly beginning to see underground anyway. And I think underground we can count about 7. So Obuasi, Chirano, but they also have some surface operations. You understand? Awasa, Prestia. Yeah. And remember, open pit is not just free for all. Ghanaians are guaranteed some minimum of 40%. We've been moving it gradually.
So the open pit, in terms of, I know that one of the things you do is to always appraise capacity. And that is what informs whether you stay where you are or you increase it.
Yes.
Are you able to tell us if the considerations for 6th edition will include an increase of a 40% in open pit?
Yeah, so we are just going through the results of the what do you call it, the research we have done to inform my meeting with the industry next week or so. So let me I don't need to mention a company.
Yes.
So this is the 2023 report of a very big company, Contract Mining. They gave it to 2 companies that are there. They spent 357 million. So let's say they spent $358 million.
Okay.
Yes, 1 year.
The 2 companies are Ghanaian.
The 2 companies are Ghanaians.
Okay.
100% Ghanaians.
Okay.
You understand that? That's just one company.
Okay.
And this is a third of government receipts, everything put together. So your whole, so I keep telling, I keep making this case that, look, if 99% of all your efforts will be focused on local content, how they raise the money locally, okay, ensuring that the inputs are made here, do you understand that? Then you won the battle.
Let's move on to explosives. How much?
So one question for you.
Yes.
So it means that because this company, a foreign company, used to do the contract money.
Yes.
So it means that if we had not changed the rule,
this money will be going
it will go outside.
Yes. So explosives, how much?
Explosives is $150
million.
Yes, 2022.
Yes.
That's 12 companies. Okay. We not included quarries and other ones yet.
Okay.
at this stage, I may not be able to break it into two, like how much of that went to like ammonium nitrate, because even some of the explosives, as I said, they have to mix ammonium nitrate and diesel and all, all kinds of things.
So this is a place where we still don't have serious local capacity.
We have. So I'll give you an example.
Okay.
Some areas no, because some of the items are totally imported, they're not manufactured there. Like maybe next week I'll bring not live ones.
You bring explosives here?
No. The ones the inspectors use for training. Not don't worry. Let me calm you down. What I'm trying to say is that listen, Randy.
Yes.
There are all kinds of explosives, and they are for various purposes. So we have what we call emotion. You see, yes, emotion. Yes. So you see what happened in Apiati.
Yes.
They were transporting it. They mix ammonium nitrate and diesel to get that. Okay. They had some type of rocks. That's the type of thing you use to break up the rocks. So we are now saying that should we allow those foreign companies that are set up to do that, import the nitrates? And I'm saying that no, because give this job to Ghanaians. You see, the emotion, they use diesel. That's fuel. Okay? That's it. And then some of the explosives.
It even means that a component of the spend on explosives will actually go and add up to the fuels and lubricants.
Yes, but I'll check whether the fuel reported there include that part. But I believe that's the case. When they say fuel, it includes diesel. The only one we separated is lubricant, because lubricants have some special use. So we decided to break them up. But the other thing I also want you to take note of is that there are some types of explosives, they are not made here.
Right.
I'll bring some next week. They are not real ones, so that the general public can appreciate them. Like the detonators and co. Those ones come from like Ukraine, Russia, those countries. So then that one like this, we can say no, allow Ghanaians to import. You see, so in as much as you are not driving away the foreign company, if you want to import, let's say 20 million worth of detonators, and give that contract to a Ghanaian, the company should not import it directly.
That's what's happening with fuel and lubricants, because we don't produce the finished product. So always reserved for Ghanaians, they import them.
Yes, but then you'll be worse off if you are talking about $436 million being spent on fuel, and then it takes out.
Even if 20% of that stays here, it's better than zero.
So you see, the more the companies spend money on fuel, which is an everyday thing, the more government makes money. So let me tell you this. There are so many levies on fuel.
Yes.
So you can just imagine if we ask VIA to tell us the $436 million spent by 12 companies in 2022, how much of that are in there? So you are beginning to see the contributions of the company to government revenue, 20%.
And for me, the bigger picture really is also how government looks at this, and uses that to inform policy.
That's what we do.
Yes, in terms of
the mining sector generally.
Not even the mine, beyond that. You have, so let's say I want to use the fuel and lubricants as an example. That, for example, this has been given exclusively to Ghanaians.
Yes.
The truth of the matter is that we don't produce any finished product here. And so, although it's exclusive to Ghanaians, these Ghanaian companies import all these fuels and lubricants. My point is that data like this must then inform the need to have that capacity.
So I understand you now. Yeah. So basically what you are trying to say is that the mining companies, just 12, spend $436 million on fuel alone, no lubricants. If you had fuel, you get into $500 million for their operations. Maybe perhaps 200 million of that were imported. So your argument, if I understand you and I stand to be corrected, is that the other side, maybe Ministry of Energy and the Energy Commission, should also have put in place where even some of the fuel will be done here.
Yes.
The derivatives, rather than importing them.
That this should then inform you that, look, if there's this market,
so much, and it's growing,
then it's imperative, especially when you even have the the raw material. It's imperative that you move to the value addition level so that you can have then the full benefit of the local content.
So that is it. So two things. Within a space of 2-3 years, we have moved from $100 million to 436.
And still growing.
I mean, within 3 years.
And still growing.
So you can see the taxes that government made there. That's a lot. Even though the mining companies complain that it also increases their cost. That's number one. And then the broader or bigger picture you're talking about, how do you make sure that, look, even though this particular service or product has been given and preserved for Ghanaians, we also make sure that at the other end, they also don't import.
So for example, if I am government or a policymaker, and I want to embark on, let's say, an industrialization drive, this data, this information, for example, should be critical to me.
Yes.
That it then tells me that, oh, these are areas where there are opportunities. We don't have the capacity, or we can develop the capacity. If I were to focus there, and I were to make some investment, maybe within a 2-year or 3-year period, we will be able to capture this particular industry that has a value of X.
And it will make so much difference for the state.
Yeah.
So you see, that's the kind of thing you find in Canada, you find in US, South Africa, and co. And then, trust me, for the next 50 years, we will still be mining. So you can bet, it's like lottery. You do the permutation, you see that there's a particular number you have. That's not to say I stake lotto, because I used to have a cousin with Livy that used to stake lotto. So you see that he will say 8.
Yes.
Then you say 8, maybe 14,
Yes.
8, 30.
Yes.
So why is that 8 keep ringing throughout? I normally do it plus or minus 8.
Okay.
Because sometimes you go and stake 835, then 735 will come. So you do 7, 8, 9 against a 35.
Right.
So basically what I'm trying to say is that the government can decide and say, look, based on the data from the mining sector, which give us not less than 40% of our receipts, I'm saying 46% last year, and one income is churning out. And the fact that for the next 20, 30 years. So look, Randy, I'm going to give you 2-3 years, okay? You find out. I may or may not be there. You will see that $1 billion will be spent on fuel by the mining companies.
Yeah.
So then, maybe about $600 million of the $1 billion are just fuel derivatives that you import. So then, can government make a conscious effort and say, look, if Minerals Commission is telling me that the mining companies alone, remember there's retail, alone is bringing in $1 billion. Now, these are the type of fuel the mining companies use, and their derivatives. Can we ensure that because of the contribution of mining, as far as fuel and lubricants are concerned, everything that goes in there and the byproducts and the derivatives will do it 100%, so that we will now have to come out. So you see, and maybe that's what we lack in this country over the years. I mean, since independence. But in other countries, that's what they do. So armed with this data, and I'm happy you took the questions along that line. Armed with this data, Minister of Energy will now sit with Energy Commission, and perhaps call MINCOM, and then GNPC and Petroleum Commission, and all those and say, look, Energy Commission, Minister of Energy, Minerals Commission has given us this information, and it's like it's $1 billion. Can we ensure that all these things that are preserved for Ghanaians, every raw material item that will go into it is done here? So then you create special zones, or you build national champions. You understand that? That's how we should be thinking.
I was going to end up with your headache, but we don't have time.
Which one is that?
Financial. That's your biggest headache.
Yes. So one of these days, I'm going to. In fact, I plan to call some meetings with the mining companies, because when I'm looking at the report, I realize that many of them have not met the threshold. So very simple, Randy. We are told by Bank of Ghana, looking at the Bank of Ghana data that was released recently, that 7.6 billion, 7.6 billion is the mineral exports. Okay, I mean gold alone, 7.6 billion. That constitutes 46% of our exports.
Earnings.
I mean, the data is clear, because you file these things. Now, out of this 7.6, take out maybe 2 billion. That's small scale. So you are now left with 5.6 billion. You see these reports that have come. We will need to find out whether 60% of the 5.6 billion went to. And I'm seeing some funny excuses from their report. Okay. Oh, because of the heady state of our local bank. Because, hey, so you see, with this kind of thing, Bank of Ghana, Minister of Finance should sit down and say that, look, Minerals Commission has created an opportunity where they said these billions that come in, 60% should go to the local banks. So let's say what Minister of Finance and Bank of Ghana should be doing and be talking about is that because this is the big pie, this is an industry that will be there for decades. How do we ensure that CBG, Agricultural Development Bank, NIB, Ghana Commercial Bank, at all material times stand on their feet? So it means that Minister of Finance, Bank of Ghana must do everything possible for these local banks to thrive, even if it requires giving them special incentives. So it's not like, don't just save them, because there's an opportunity for them now. The billions will run through salaries, whatever they purchase. So Randy, if we are saying that 60% of 5.6 billion, that's roughly, let's say, let's be conservative, $3 billion should run through the local banks. Something it will take government 3-4 years to get even in royalties and receipts. You can imagine. So maybe we'll be writing to our minister. I mean, we give them this data, and then through that he instructs, and then we make policy and toughen the law. But I think the time has come now for, let's say, we to tell our minister, write to Minister of Finance and let them treat these our local banks in a special way, because there's so much billion sitting there in the mining space where by law they are supposed to run these monies through. Right. I mean, the bank sometimes it's not a matter of just the money staying, it should just be going through it. So if commercial bank can even get $1 billion from their mines and they are charging even 0.1% as processing fee or administrative charges, that's a lot of money.
True.
Okay. All right.
So Martin, we'll leave it here today. When we come back next week, we're looking at how
do we get in?
How the Ghanaian can get in.
People have been waiting for that and say, look, you've told us the billions, we now know what is preserved for us. Because anytime I leave here, then I get a lot of messages. I want to register. How do we get in? So you can assure viewers that next week we spend a lot of time.
Yes.
How
do you get in? How do you become a part of
these billions?
Yes. All right. So thanks once again. And up next is Metro Sports.
Good Morning Ghana is brought to you by MTN. Metro TV, insight.